You are tuned in to Making a Statement podcast, brought to you by Kia Ora FM 89.8 and On Target Productions. Big shout out to our sponsors. Also, big shout out to Henry's Family Pies over in Hawke's Bay. Much aroha to them. And to Fresh Pork, NZ and Levin. They're going to be sorting out our mystery munch. And boy, oh boy, do we have a surprise for you guys.
Look, you know, we had a surprise. Dills has dropped a little.
You didn't need to throw it at me.
He has dropped a surprise. It's an ear biscuit, and he has passed the ear biscuit along the couch. It hasn't quite hit me yet.
Just pass it on.
I'm a mouth breather, so I'm going to taste it before I smell
That's disgusting.
Poor audience is dying.
Good timing, and welcome to the Making a Statement podcast, guys.
You're welcome to welcome.
I think that statement was shit. It might have been a shit screaming to get out. I'm not sure.
Either way, I made a statement.
You did make a statement.
Sorry, guys, for ruining the introduction. In true fashion.
The mic didn't pick it up. It's unfortunate. It's a bit nutty.
So it's hit you. All good.
Nutty. Yeah,
Should we start?
Yeah, let's go. Oh, sorry, I put myself off. All right, guys. Did anybody see the alien?
What alien?
The aliens that have been announced?
What?
You haven't seen that?
Are you smoking crack?
Not yet.
Tell me a story.
From Senate.
Mexican council or Mexican government or something like that have some aliens that are apparently real. They've done biological tests on them. They've done MRI scans and stuff and proved that they are just one piece and not assembled. And they have tissues. And apparently they're X amount of years old. And they came from somewhere.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. I didn't read the full article, but I saw the headline.
Yeah.
There is aliens. Peter, you as
They
somebody...
declassified it.
Of course I heard about this.
The Senate did. So.
Did you see that?
Yeah, apparently they have, like, alien bodies.
Alien bodies.
But it looks like it's made out of paper mache, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So I'm uncertain because I've always been like a keen UFO kind of dude. You know, I've always
yeah.
wanted to believe, man.
Oh, how cool would it be?
Yeah, I know, man, I know.
And what could they bring? What could they bring to the party? What neat? You know, everyone just assumes the worst, but what might they want to share? What could we learn? You know,
What cool technology
yeah.
can they share with us?
My theory on aliens is that they're not here, but I believe that there are civilizations here prior to humans, and we could find the remnants of them.
Dinosaurs.
and that'd explain some of the unexplained stuff.
Yeah.
You know, some of the weird stuff like those big heads on Easter Island,
Yeah,
pyramids,
hedges,
stuff like that.
The hedges,
So,
the pyramids.
I know how they're buried.
Stonehenge,
Stonehenge, that's what I
Massive
call it.
tsunami.
The hedges. You know, the hedges, those really
those hedges.
mythical hedges.
They had the hogs as well, eh? Very small prickly pigs.
Yeah.
Those hedges.
3 kilometer tsunami wave buried those heads. Simple as that. Comet, asteroid strike straight into the Pacific Ocean. Did that?
Man, we talk a lot of junk, don't we?
No, about 6,500 years ago. That was
Telling
the first
lies.
one. Nope.
That's when Jesus was born.
No, that's well and truly before Jesus was
There's a
born.
couple of
Jesus was
fat
born
craters, eh?
2,000 years ago.
There's a couple of fat craters that you can see
Impact
on,
craters.
There's
one in the
on
Indian
Google Earth
Ocean.
and stuff, eh? Like they're very, very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
planet-killing
Yeah.
asteroids.
There's one that hit the Indian Ocean, and I think they're called chevrons. You know when you go to the beach and you got a wave comes in and you got those like diamonds or triangles because the wave washes back.
Yes.
Yeah, with modern day satellites, you can see massive chevrons that are like
On the seafloor kind of thing.
that are on throughout the entire world. That there has been asteroid strikes and
Caused a big wave.
massive wave.
Scarred the land, you can see.
Scarred the land. So there's one that hit the Indian Ocean. So the eastern coast of Madagascar has these chevrons about 200 feet. So you're talking 200 feet. So they estimate that a wave would have to be 3 kilometers high to do
To
a
cause
chevron.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if it misses Africa, the continent Africa, and then you
Yeah.
start seeing the chevrons appearing in South Africa,
Yeah.
Nigeria, Ethiopia, Oman, Yemen, India,
Can
Pakistan.
I just pause, Eddie, and just give a shout out to your knowledge of geography? I could not have named that many neighbouring countries on a continent if I tried.
I've just learned that Singapore is the size of Topol.
Did you not know that?
My
didn't
mum's
know
from
that.
Singapore.
I've been to Singapore and I didn't even know
So
that.
one of the cool things about Singapore, I don't know if it still holds true, but it used to be the case. It was the size of Lake Taupo, but it contained the entire population of New Zealand. So same population, but sitting in the footprint of that lake.
Yeah.
Crazy.
5 million.
crazy,
They've
eh?
got 5 million there.
So they're a bit more than us now.
What are we? 4.7 now, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're up to 4.7.
I think we're higher.
And how cool is it now too? Because like our diversity across our country now, like we are so much more diverse. We've got people from all over the world have like picked this for home.
Except this is a true story. When I moved over to Sydney, I found out about the Lebanese, but I hadn't even heard of them before I moved over to Australia.
Oh wow!
I don't even know. I've never met a Lebanese from, I guess.
And there's heaps of Greeks in Aussie too.
Yeah, there is. I worked with a lot of Greeks.
Yeah.
But Lebanese. I've never seen them in New Zealand.
Hard case.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. I mean, I probably just don't
They
know. I'm not
migrate-
asking, are you a
They migrated
Lebanese?
to Australia after World War II because it got Greece unfortunately fell on the eastern side of the Iron Curtain and then was later released. They swapped countries. Iron Curtain was the divide between the Soviets and the Allies after World War II, and Greece actually fell inside the Soviets' influence for a while. But then they traded Poland. Poland got swapped, and Greece came back to the west.
Well, rounding back to the conversation about the aliens.
Yeah. Sorry.
If an asteroid...
Not for 1 second implying that immigrants are aliens.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Back
You
to
know,
aliens.
not linked at all, but we're talking about dinosaurs, we're talking about asteroids, we're talking about craters, we're talking about all of that. Why, if the asteroid that hit the Earth was so big that it wiped out everything,
Yeah.
why doesn't it still sit where it hit,
What, the asteroid?
the asteroid?
Because they explode after impact.
Yeah.
The
Full
one,
fragments, nothing remains in the crater, it's just 100% evaporated.
Did it go into the middle and melt?
most of them explode because the atmosphere explodes most of them. So after
Yeah,
impact,
they burn on the way
they
in.
burn.
Yeah.
So they're extremely hot, and it leaves like scarring. So one of the reasons it's hard to find them is because if they're large enough, they actually impact past the mantle, and then it creates an eruption, and the eruption comes up and over and covers them.
So it's underneath the...
Yeah.
So if you go and find...
So-
Because
It's hit the gooey centre.
the crater that hit the dinosaurs, they say that's like in Mexico or something like that,
Yeah.
and there's the ocean. Yeah, if you go and dig under that, you'll find the one that
Allegedly.
allegedly.
And
did what it
Good
did.
luck. 'cause
and then you start asking questions like, okay, is that where some of the cool minerals and stuff that we find come from? Are they like, are
Well,
they
what-
native to our planet, or have they been slapped there by asteroids smacking into it?
So we're getting a bit of the alien
Twen-
juice.
in,
Maybe, I don't know.
in,
Where does lithium come from?
in 2014,
Batteries.
lithium comes. In 2014, they found it's in Turkey, modern day Turkey, but they found a city that was buried under 45 feet of soil.
Well, it's kind of like the buried village
an
of
ancient
Rotorua.
one. It's not 45 feet.
No, it's not 45 feet,
Yeah.
but they uncovered it because
Yeah.
it was buried from Mount Tarawera.
Yeah, that was 10 feet on it.
Okay. I've got another topic of conversation as we're speaking about news. Tupac.
Okay.
Anybody see the news related to Tupac? You're right there, Nate Dog. Definitely coming through the headset.
Sorry, I'd given Peter the whole like fucking mute this mic because I keep kicking it and I wanted to move it. There, I finished making noises.
Okay.
Are you
I really
happy
need to
that-
label this mixer. Sorry.
Cock balls. We'll mute that.
Okay.
We'll cut that bit out and just
You
carry
don't have
on.
to
That's
cut
the
that
beauty of it.
So in recent news,
Yeah, okay.
Tupac, did anybody see what's gone on there?
Was it the hologram?
No. They've arrested the killer for
Okay.
Tupac.
Shut the front door
About 27 years on.
after. Yeah.
27, I was just estimating, but around about.
Dr. Dre?
No. It was P. Diddy. No, it's not.
He did it.
No, it was a guy that goes by Keefe D, and he has admitted he wrote a fucking book about it. He put it in a book and said, I was there when Tupac got shot.
Oh, okay.
My nephew, Anderson, whoever, Orlando Anderson, I think his name is the guy that Tupac and that smashed in the MGM. If you've seen the footage or you know about that section of that story, it was a Crip, and he got a hiding from Tupac and Tupac's crew, so Suge Knight and that. Apparently, after that, he went and got revenge.
Oh, okay.
And so
Makes
Keefe
sense.
D's his uncle, and they're all Crips. And this Keefe D guy is the last guy surviving of it all. The actual shooter was shot in a shooting a year later or something.
So has this guy been charged as an accessory? has he?
Keefe D's, no, he's been charged with the murder.
But he's deceased.
No, he's
I thought you said
surviving.
the actual shooter was
The
deceased.
actual shooter, according to him,
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, okay.
had been shot in a shootout.
Conveniently, we'll blame the dead guy. Yeah,
But they did a search warrant of his house a few months ago, and that made news. And then about 2 days ago, they actually arrested him and charged him with Tupac's murder.
Far out.
Okay, interesting.
We need to be well read, I think, because Dills is gonna pull stuff like this out the bag, and if we can't contribute, we look like we're not connected to popular culture.
Well, what have you seen in recent news?
Well, to be honest, I've just done 60 hours of night shifts. I haven't seen the news.
Politics.
You don't check stuff news on your phone?
No, look, to be honest, I have a real problem with that. I find it quite biased and very clickbaity.
Stuff news?
Yep. So
Specifically?
I try quite hard to look more broadly for
I
news.
specifically think,
I
is it
agree.
New Zealand Herald a clickbaity? Because when I got in my little Renoan beef with Mr. Tom Francis, it was East Coast and West Coast rapper get in beef involving death threats. I think that was what it was, and that was
Right.
New Zealand Herald's
Right.
headline.
Yeah.
And they really went all out.
Ooh, we can sell some papers with this.
Yeah.
Or sell some ads.
For me though, like I have a little bit of pride in that because I'm pretty sure I'm one of the first, if only, hip hop artists or artists in New Zealand to get national news coverage on a bloody beef.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not standard here.
Well, here's something that's been in the headlines is looks like Tyson Fury and Usyk is going to happen in Saudi Arabia next year. They've agreed to fight. So
I think a bigger one is Mark Zuckerberg and what's the face Elon Musk.
that might be on the same card. That might be on that same card.
They're saying that's going to be held at the Colosseum. Rome or Italy or whatever it is now have invited them to host it at the Colosseum.
'Cause did you see Nagano's Nagano's tweet after it was announced? He was sitting there saying, "You won't be medically cleared to fight in January after." Because he's got to go.
How's that
through
going to
the
go?
game.
You're gonna get two nerds in the ring. What are they going to do?
Nah, Zuckerberg does jiu-jitsu. He's actually pretty good.
He's been training with old Adesanya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He actually looks.
and I
He's been
think
doing Brazilian
Well,
jiu-jitsu.
I think
he looks
Elon-
pretty good.
if that's
Elon's
the-
training with Georgia St. Pierre, isn't he?
Yeah, Elon is.
Yeah.
I was
but-
going to say
but
because
Zuckerberg
Elon looks like a bit
good.
of a pudding, doesn't he? He looks like he's going to have his ass handed to him.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Mark actually
bigger
looks
and
in
stronger.
shape.
Yeah,
He-
Zuckerberg is actually ripped it.
He looks like a nerd you
Yeah.
wouldn't give a wedgie to.
Nah. Be interesting.
Ah.
They can do as much training as they want, but I mean, would it actually? Once they hop inside the octagon, it's going to be a different story.
It'll be a spectacle.
They're not combat guys,
No.
so they can train as much as they want. It's just I don't think it's in their nature to be
To scrap.
to scrap.
Yeah.
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 So they
So,
can train as much as they want.
I was going to say we were.
The mentality, you have to have that psychology to actually get inside there. Animals dominate there. They're not animals.
No. They're intellectuals.
Yeah, they're
It's a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might be able to write a vicious tweet, maybe. Look, we're drifting a little. Is it time to yank a question from one of the viewers out of the bag of magic questions?
I think so.
We
I
can
believe so.
absolutely, if we want to. We're about
Yeah.
14 minutes in.
What do we have, Peter?
So, question number 1. Why do men feel like they need to hold their emotions in?
That's a really deep question.
Yep.
That's a really deep. I think we could all probably speak to our own personal
yeah.
reasoning.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think. Okay,
think so.
I'll start. My personal reasoning is showing vulnerability myself in the past has been used against me. So, past relationships, I've allowed myself to be vulnerable. I've spoken about my feelings, and then all of a sudden they're chucked back in my face and used against me in however
Twisted.
way.
Yeah.
And so for me, that gradually built a wall in which I didn't want my feelings to be on display or talked about.
And suddenly you have this tough guy persona, rightly or wrongly, this hard exterior, right?
But it's
This-
very hard to maintain
unapproachable.
because then as soon as you got that tough guy
Gotta live
exterior,
up to it.
if you can't even talk to your other half about it, how do you speak to your friends about it? How do you speak to
Yeah.
anybody about it?
Where's your safe space?
So you don't have one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're trying to bottle that shit up, and
That
it
sounds
gets the
really,
best of
really
you.
healthy, eh? Not healthy.
Not
Yeah.
healthy.
So mine's similar. Like, a lot of it's to do with my personality. I'm a heavy introvert. I don't like feeling vulnerable. And
You're finding this tough just describing it,
Yes,
eh? It's
yeah,
written all
yeah.
over your face.
yeah. So I shield myself. I don't like people knowing what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Yeah, so mine's, yeah. Yeah, I am
This
struggling.
is good for you, eh? This is like, if nothing else, this podcast will be real good for you
Yeah,
personally. I
opens me
reckon
up.
you're going to grow, just sharing.
Why
Yes,
don't
sir.
they talk about their feelings? What was the question?
Why do men feel like they have to hide their feelings?
Why
Hide
do
their feelings.
men feel like they need to hold their emotions
Hold their
in?
emotions
Because
in.
they
Yeah.
don't have the Making
I-
a Statement podcast to talk about their emotions.
Yeah.
Now
And
Eddie
the
has
other-
this.
And the other one is I don't trust my emotions. That's my biggest one. So I try and suppress emotions and I try and use logic and reasoning.
Yes.
I don't like surrendering to any of my emotions,
Yes.
whether it be anger, sadness, despair. So that's why I struggle
Is that
with
about
it.
control?
Self-control.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Being in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate being angry because I can lose it.
Yeah.
I have done so.
But that's because you're not having an event up until that point that you then lose it, because then it's either you've got control or you lose the control, and then when you
Yeah.
lose the control, that's a
Yeah.
that's a situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think because I don't express my emotions, I keep bottling them up, and then it becomes rage, and then it spills out.
Out it comes.
Out it comes.
Like a volcano.
Like
Your
a
turn.
volcano.
Your turn, Nathan. Let's hear.
I'm kind of an extrovert, so I have the opposite. I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot, and like to your point, like it still gets used against you. You still have challenges with that. For me, the easiest emotion to let out's always been anger. Short fuse, quick to temper, quick to launch a tool across the workshop, or snap a harsh word at one of the kids, kind of thing. What I'm learning as I get a little bit older and wiser is that the simple act of being vulnerable builds trust like nothing else. So if you are vulnerable with your colleagues and with those that you love, and you're like, hey, I don't know everything, or I'm not sure about this. What's your take on it? I'm not very good at this. Can you help me? All of those kinds of things just build massive amounts of trust when you're being a bit vulnerable. People are like, holy crap, they're human and they have failings and they're not perfect, or my boss is not perfect and he's asking me for my advice and my help, and it just, yeah. So I'm trying to be exactly the opposite of bottling them up, exactly the opposite of hiding them, like, yeah. And not being sort of scared of saying, this is how I'm feeling right at this moment. I feel, like I'm really uncomfortable with this. I'll give you a great example. Multi-language week just came and went not long ago. And I'm working with a client, and they're like, our business unit has to do a waiata. So every business unit's going to do a waiata, and they'll be recorded, and they'll be put on the intranet for the whole company, and we'll have a contest, and there's a prize and stuff. And I'm like, I don't speak today. The idea of singing in a language I can't even speak, I think I'd rather perform naked on stage than do that. Like,
Are you a good singer?
No.
Oh,
so I don't think so.
Yeah. So that's another problem.
Yeah. And so I'm just mortified. But I just said that, like, actually, that's so far outside my comfort zone. I'm absolutely terrified of that. I'm really uncomfortable doing it, and just said so. And like, whereas previously I might have just, like, stood in the back and mumbled and, tried to get into it, and just
Just
you
try
know,
and
to
hide in the
mine now.
background.
But you would have been
Yeah.
dreading it the entire time.
100%.
That's something I've started doing myself, is not being a people pleaser. Because I
Yes.
think that's what that is.
And it puts a real heap of pressure on yourself, and it makes you, like, it's not good for you mentally.
No, because if you sign...
Anxiety in it. It's building anxiety. That's
100%.
anxiety.
Yeah.
100%.
So I've noticed that myself, is like, if I signed up for something like that, if I was in that position, I'd sign up for a month away. But that whole month, I'll be dreading that day.
Yeah.
And now I've kind of got to the point where, like, my schedule is too busy, my time is too valuable. I'm not signing up for stuff that I don't want to do, and I just say no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so we're drifting off topic, but I think it's a good diversion, is that whole saying no, and saying it with respect and love, and, you wouldn't slap someone down and go, my time's too valuable, I'm not coming to your barbecue.
No.
You know what I mean? I'd love to come. Unfortunately, have all this other stuff on, or I have prior commitments or whatever, but like getting better at just saying no and removing the anxiety that goes with doing the thing you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And
But that's not to say you shouldn't go outside your comfort zone.
No.
Because
No.
then that's the only way you grow. So there's a balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
You got to do a bit of
growth
both,
and
right?
development.
That's right.
Yeah.
But saying what you were saying before, that vulnerability and also just allowing that to be seen, I've taken that step myself when it comes to, like, for example, my work. So I took a bit of time off with my back injury that I mentioned previously.
Yeah.
And I've also mentioned previously the painkiller addiction that I went through.
Yeah.
So now what I've actually done is, you know, with my team, I've discussed with them, hey, just letting you guys know, like, I've actually been going through this. And because of this, which was the painkiller addiction, I'm struggling with this because I'm in pain, but I don't know how to, I don't know how to handle it.
Yep.
But I just completely was transparent and vulnerable and let them know what I was going through so that they could understand, and they're not just thinking, what's my boss up to? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
All
so
the
how did-
leadership courses I've ever done explain that's what you should do.
Communication is key.
Communication.
How did they respond to that honesty? That
There was sympathy, but I think there was respect. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I was being transparent. I wasn't trying to come up with cover stories. I wasn't trying to. We actually were supposed to just have our little 5-minute team huddle in the morning.
and it just went off on a tangent like next
And
minute.
it went for like almost an hour.
Yeah.
Because I told my story. But I told my story so that they knew who was speaking to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And where I was
yeah,
coming from with
yeah.
the words I was saying.
That's not very productive.
No, but it was.
There's
It's
value in it
was.
though.
It's
There's-
team building.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah, it
I'm
was.
only giving
There's
it.
value
It's
in
team
it.
building.
It was also after being off work for a couple of weeks and, you know, trying to, I'm not just, you know, I'm not just, this is something I actually wanted to talk about, is I feel guilt taking sick days because of the people that have put the stigma surrounding days off. There's so many people, you know, if you call in sick,
Yes.
it's probably 50-50 as to whether or not somebody
Oh.
believes you.
Oh, he's
Because-
taking a can't be stuffed holiday.
Well,
You know.
Monday day off.
I felt stink taking 5 days off for the kidney stones.
Yeah.
So I went back to work.
But also there's almost this thing that I don't know if it's just me, but it's almost like, do they believe me? Or
Yeah.
do they think I'm just having sick
Nah,
days?
Mine
So
wasn't
you
about
wait
that.
till you're self-employed, and then the pressure you put on yourself to be productive.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, because now you're only answerable to you, but you know from being an artist and like critiquing your own work, you are your own worst critic. So the minute you're self-employed, you know, like sick days don't exist, not because of hardship or any of that nonsense, just because of self-imposed, you know, I must work, I must be productive, I must take my business forward. What have I done today to grow it or further it? You'd probably be like that planning the podcast.
He's like
What's
that
the
with
next step?
everything.
I don't slow down
He
at all.
doesn't slow down.
No,
I mean,
he's full on.
people can see my hand's in a brace right now because my hand is buggered, but I'm still going to
He's got
work every
zip
day.
carpal tunnel.
I've got something
You're
going on, but
down
I go
there.
to work every day. Then I'm still coming home, and I've got too much to do for me to take a break. So
And his wife is
I just-
very confused by the size of the OnlyFans
actually got a-
invoice
I forgot.
on the credit card bill that's coincided strangely with the
I've gotta
hand
find-
injury.
I've got to find my one for you. Mine's better than that. That one's so good.
Yeah.
Mine will go down to the forearm.
it will do. But
Please tell me we're talking about medical aids for
Yeah,
injured tendons.
yeah, Eddie's
good.
just talking about his history of OnlyFans.
Yeah, so it's entirely legitimate. So, so some different answers there, eh? Like,
Definitely.
Eddie and I are probably at completely different ends of the spectrum.
I can tell you're an extrovert. I've
Yeah.
got to force myself to be extroverted.
What would you consider me as? Because I
I've always-
don't know.
I've always said you're an introvert,
Yeah,
but you've taught yourself to be extroverted.
yes.
You can't. I've known you since you were a child. You're an introvert, but you've mastered both.
You kind of like bottle it up, think about it, and then it comes out in these beautiful lyrics. You know what I mean?
Artistry.
Yeah.
That's your venting of it. It's
Yeah.
like it's still controlled, you know, and it's only the message that you want to share. You know, like by the time you have put voice to a microphone, the pen's been on the paper for ages. You've been like rolling lyrics around, killing your babies, so to speak. We do this when we're editing film as well. You know, like I really love that shot. You got to kill the baby because it doesn't fit. And so you'll have done the same. You'll have gone through that process. So what I hear is a very refined, very selective view into an incident or your thoughts or feelings on a subject. And the rest of the time, that's, locked away, I think.
I think that's
Opposites attract.
a
So-
very good.
You tend to go toward the other way. So as an introvert, you tend to gravitate toward an extrovert. and your wife is extroverted.
She can be.
Yeah,
She can be, but she's her own version of anxiety and
everyone suffers from
Yeah,
anxiety,
like, but
no matter what.
I saw
There's nothing to do with.
I saw a
introvert or
slice of that
extrovert.
when I put a camera in her face on her wedding day.
you probably yeah. No, she's awesome at both, but it depends on the
I
people
think
she's
she's
around.
more of a be
It's a
interesting.
comfort thing.
Comfort.
Yeah, it's a comfort.
Security. Yeah, do I feel safe?
Yep. So I think what you're saying there, but though about lyrics and the way I articulate them and the process I go through, I think that is a very important point to bring up on this topic, because as much as I may not feel comfortable sharing my emotions with my people at times,
Yes.
You do
I've
it through
always been
lyrics.
able to express myself through lyrics.
Yeah.
Now, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of unreleased songs and lyrics on my phone, because if I have a moment, even if it's just myself that needs to vent something,
Just a piece
no
of something,
no
like
matter
part of a
what
picture.
it is, even if it's just a huge argument I might have had, or just a problem that I might have seen, or just something I didn't agree with on, I can write that shit down, and that's saved forever as a lyric. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to put it out, but I've vented.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
you've got it out.
That escape is that's like my safe place, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm actually going to take this all the way back around, but back in the days when I was in a really dark place and I was doing my own little depression and I didn't know what I was going through at the time, I was just stuck.
You were young.
I wrote a song at the time. It was called Help Me, and I've kept it on my laptop to myself this entire time. But my concept of that was I was going to write my suicide note in the form of a song. But if I didn't have that outlet of creating or turning that emotion and that feeling into art,
Yeah.
what would have happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's very important to have. If you don't have somebody to talk to, you've got some way to vent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see that really healthy outlet in boxing gyms and things like that, like martial arts gyms where you got, young men that are filled with rage about whatever it is in their life that's doing their head in, just being able to, go to the gym and beat the snot out of a bag and learn some control and learn not to hurt themselves doing it and all that kind of stuff, turning it into a healthy outlet, and you see the same on the rugby field, and cyclists and swimmers, athletes especially, just go and vent the rage, like sweat it out.
Yeah, I like heavy lifting. That's my vent.
Yeah. For me, it's walking in the hills.
That's
Fishing is another one. I think we talked about this kind of last time. That
Yeah.
you
And
need
golf
that,
for you
need
guys.
that
Golf.
safe space or that place
golf-
for your brain to
golf
find
makes me
relaxation.
frustrated at times.
Yeah, so does fishing. I guess everything has a frustration.
No way.
Otherwise it'd be called catching, right?
I hooked something so big on a fishing competition day, and there's a video of it. The rod's just bent over, it's pulling, and I'm bringing it in, and then it snapped the line.
right on.
I was pissed as shit.
Yeah.
And then we had sharks circling the boat, and then our motor broke, and then we were stuck at sea at 30 meters in depth, and we had to try to call in, hey, can
How
somebody
is-
come and tow us in?
How is this not a rap yet?
I don't know, but that's
This is a whole story, like...
oh, there's a lot of stories to be
There's a lot of
told, but there's a
stories.
lot of frustration that happened that day when fishing.
You got caught on the sandbar on the way into it.
No, we had to get towed in, and we got towed in, but the bar was too shallow to cross, so we had to do a beach landing, and we had the whole fishing competition there at the beach ready to try and receive our boat. So one, it was embarrassing, but two, then I had to shout every fucking body in the bar.
Do we have to give a shout out to the fine folk at Foxton Coast
No,
Guard?
it was Tangi Moana. So shout out
Oh,
the
yeah.
Tangi Moana boating crew. You guys saved us from the ocean, from the sharks, and from a big bill of whatever might have come from if they didn't tow us in, or probably the Coast Guard would have had to pay a fee there. I don't know.
Who knows?
But the rest of the frustration came with the bill that I had to pay to fix the boat. It was like $1,600 or
I think
some
we
shit.
spoke about this briefly a couple of weeks ago. This boat, this outlet, because are you in it with your dad or your uncle or something?
No,
your dad.
yeah.
Yeah, your Harvey's in this boat. Has it been in the water since this?
No, that was the last time it was in the water.
See, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was February.
Oh, that's all
I
fixed
think
up
it was
now. Good.
February
Well,
7th.
let's put that on a trailer and round the back out of the way where it can't get damaged.
Well, it only
Where's
got
it sitting at the moment?
it only got fixed up. We only got it back about 2 months ago. So it's
Just
been
in time for some summer fishing.
Yeah.
Spring's just,
Good
spring's hit.
good
Yeah.
timing. We've just moved out to Foxton Beach, so
Oh,
it's planning to be parked outside my house around the corner from the wharf, where we can just launch it whenever we feel like to.
awesome.
Well, you're not far from Whitebait Creek either. You can get whitebaiting.
Oh, that place is packed.
I say careful, because we'll drift into delicious kaimoana here. and that'll be a podcast all of its own because I've got an absolute fetish for snorkeling for pawa and crayfish and
I'm
see
coming-
it's
I'm
happening.
coming-
His mouth's watering. I can see it already.
That's one
He's
of my
like,
favourite
yeah,
things to do. I'm
Yeah.
coming with you.
yeah,
You
so
free
good.
dive.
Can we
should-
get some underwater cameras?
Yes.
Shoot an episode underwater.
Yes, let's do that. Let's shoot
I
it.
love
Let's
it.
shoot a podcast. at the beach.
I've never done diving. I've done snorkeling.
Yeah. That's all we
Snorkeling.
need to do. We'll snorkel for some kaimoana. What's your take on kina?
I don't like them.
No,
I think
too
they
salty.
taste like a slug filled with diarrhea.
So I've always felt that way until diving with a mate. He's like, oh,
Have them
this
fresh
is a
from the
good
shower.
one. This is a good. And I'm like, there's no such thing as
Yeah.
a good kina. They all taste like cold snot. And he's like, honest. And he pulled out like one little segment, and it was sweet. And I was like, oh, I see what the fuss is about. The problem is, it's like the mystery munch. You know, like
Mystery munch.
you don't know what you're gonna get. Sometimes it's like just yuck. Ooh, I got a sweet one.
Okay, so I've tried it twice. I went snorkeling. There's the glass bottom boat in Coromandel, Fitzgibbon, it might be.
That's cool.
And we did snorkeling, pulled up some kina, and they're like, let's try them. I'm like, shouldn't we cook them first? I'm
No,
like,
no,
So
that's
they
the whole
just
point.
smashed them open. I tried it. It was absolutely revolting. I've never tried it since, and that was that was probably like 10 years ago. And then last year I was at a function, and they had kina. And I said to everybody, I was like, I don't think I like kina. They're like, try it. You might like it now. You might have
Yeah,
Clean
because your
day.
taste buds do change.
So I
Yeah.
tried one, and it was just as disgusting
Just as
as
awful.
the first time. So I don't know. I'll probably try a third one. If we ate tiro last week, or we
Yeah.
tried buttholes and bulls. So I'll,
Yeah.
The only two shellfish I don't like is pawa and kina. I'll eat everything else.
See, I recommend breaking kina open and then watching the snapper and stuff come around and then shooting them with a spear gun.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a much
that's an
better plan.
adventure.
That is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good plan.
Then it's like hunting, but you're swimming.
I've never tried it.
Oh, like it's like a lot of stuff. You run the risk of pouring a pile of money into gear, and and your precious spare time becomes even more scarce because like now you've got another thing that you really love doing.
That's
Yeah.
like the boat. It's like for me, I had to try to find balance when I got the boat. It was like, am I going to golf this weekend or am I going on the boat this
it's not
weekend?
fun.
Yeah.
Because if I go on the boat and go to golf, I've just used up my whole weekend, and then my wife and kids or whatever have
Going
waited
to strangle
all week to spend some time with me, and I've just gone out on the boat one day and gone golfing the other day, or a bit of both.
Yeah.
So on
The
both
flip
days,
side is though those kids will grow, and going out on the boat will become a family activity.
it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah.
something that we've talked about, and I mean the likes of golf. That's something you could start to teach them once they've got the
And if-
ability.
If you're out at Foxton Beach too, like you've got all the mud flats and the estuary there, so there's also like spotlighting for flounder. and
Well,
Well,
all
that's
that
what we
kind of
went out
fun
to
stuff.
do the other night. I sent you that video of the eel. We got an eel. It was cool. I did that one-handed, holding my cell phone as a torch with one hand and then just spearing with the other. I thought I was going to drop my phone in, but I didn't. But concept was to go floundering because I've bought some spears, but never had the chance to use them. So I was like, let's try use them. But the weather just didn't
Nah, it's been-
permit.
Like it hasn't been
It was
playing the game this
dirty.
year.
It
eh?
was
Not out
dirty. It was
Foxton Beach.
disgusting.
No, today it's blowing a gale. It's crazy out there.
It was blowing a gale on Friday when we were trying to move house.
We're getting all of that fun spring messiness, eh? Like
Oh.
beautiful, hot, sunny, still day, wet and rainy, bit of wind, bit of back and forth, eh? Keeps us on our toes.
Yeah. So let's have a look in the kitchen, Pitter.
But yeah, check out the Cuzzy B at the moment. He works hard, but he plays even harder.
My eyes are so-
Yeah, boy, cooking up that mystery munch. So next question from our beautiful audience: why do men think drinking will solve their problems?
Eddie, this sounds like a you question.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, oh,
That sounds like your problem. No.
oh. I can't really talk on that specific question because it wasn't about drinking. For me was about escaping my own mind. So I used alcohol because I got sick of sitting there depressed, over analysing and not sleeping at nights and just thinking about how poorly my life was going. So I think with the painkiller addiction I had, and then on top you put the liquor, and then you combine the two, and it gives you a different effect, and it actually switches the brain off. So you just stop feeling, momentarily you stop self-loathing, and
So not really anything at all to do with solving your problems so much as escaping them.
yeah, pretty
It
much.
sounds to me like what I use writing lyrics to do. It sounds like an unhealthy way of
It's
venting.
an unhealthy way.
It sounds like what somebody would do
It
if they
leads
didn't
to
have a
further
way.
depression because it doesn't help.
Or causes problems too. That's why I stopped drinking for a long time,
yeah.
because I ended up behind bars multiple times.
Exactly. You start
and
doing stupid
beefing with gangs and breaking my hands and
stuff. You lose control.
yep.
It doesn't lead. It doesn't lead to a good place.
My teenage years
It could
drinking.
lead to gambling. It can lead to all the bad things in life.
Yeah, my teenage years of drinking could have led to a very dark place in my life. Like if I carried on the path that I was going at the age of 18 and 19,
Yeah.
and I carried on going to town and picking fights and, you know,
Exactly.
getting in this punch up and getting in that one or jumping in this
Easily turn
situation.
into a manslaughter.
What is hands down
One
our
fight. that's it.
number one drug problem in New Zealand is alcohol. Hands down.
Oh, definitely.
More domestic violence,
Yeah.
more injuries,
Yeah.
more harm done with alcohol than any other drug, and you can
Destroys the homes.
you can buy it at a Foursquare or a supermarket, or you know what I mean. Like
It's terrible
kind of
how that's a part of our culture.
yeah. But I mean, it's ingrained in the New Zealand culture, right? If you stop and pause and think for a moment, you know, a baby's born, we have a few beers to celebrate. You know, they turn 21. What do? They get married. What do? They have a kid. What do? They die. What do? You know, so like every point of celebration in New Zealand, it's a real beer culture.
Yeah, and if you don't celebrate by having a beer, well, then
Yeah.
everyone's asking you, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you man enough to have a, you know, why aren't you
Yeah.
being a man and drinking a
Yeah,
beer?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it
Yeah,
almost
it's done.
becomes such a stereotypical
stigma.
thing that if you don't participate,
Yes.
well, then you know, they're probably going to be pointing you out and making you feel like the odd one out,
Yeah.
and like you should be participating, or else XYZ.
There's something wrong with you.
We
You're
get
somehow lesser.
ostracised, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So the stigma, I think that's
Yeah.
you know, and we're about breaking the stigma.
Yeah.
we're
so,
definitely about breaking
I
stigmas.
think that's definitely a very good conversation. So I had to learn when I stepped away from drinking. So I do it occasionally. I still do it to this
Yeah,
day. I stopped drinking for about 2 years. I only had my first drink at my dad's 50th in January. But before that, I stopped drinking for about 2 years. I can step away from drinking, and that's something that I try to make sure I can always do. So if at any point, if I go touring, so touring is where it becomes a problem, because, you know, back when I was touring and there was that period of touring when I was single, that's like the New Zealand version of sex, drugs, and rock and
Yeah.
roll. You know, you're really living an artist's lifestyle. It might not be as spectacular as, you know, they have it in the States, but you're doing it homegrown backyard version in New Zealand. And it does become a problem of drinking. You know, you're doing a show. For example, you do a show, you're getting provided alcohol on your riders. So as an artist, I'm going to do shows, and I'm doing Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and every one of these shows, I'm getting provided every piece of alcohol that I asked for.
Yeah.
It causes a problem. As an artist, I'm embarrassed to say that I did a show in Levin at the Roadhouse. I was so drunk, I ended up pretty much with barely any clothes on. Didn't remember the show the next day. Somebody showed me a photo of my bro Ricky, who comes up on stage with me. And I was like, oh, that's a cool photo. Did you take that? And he goes, bro, I'm on stage with you. How did I take that? I was like, who had my phone then? Like, I have no idea who took this photo, how they
Yep.
got my phone, but I was
Yep.
just written off, and I shouldn't have been in that state on stage. But as an artist, you get engulfed into that drinking culture that comes with performing or entertainment or anything in this country, like you just said. But
Yeah.
the problem is, it's not just New Zealand; it's actually worldwide. You know what I mean?
Nah, not all countries have.
Well,
issues.
for if
In the West.
if you look at the
Yes.
majority
In
of
the
the
West.
standard countries, so we look at New Zealand, Australia, America, whatever, the drinking culture is a thing.
Yeah, but you look at something like Germany,
Yeah.
where they treat it like a food, and so young children are having a beer with their meal, with their parents. That's a normal part of their culture.
Yeah.
But they don't have the same problems with drink driving. They don't have the same problems with alcohol abuse. It's that whole
France is another one.
yeah.
Spain's another.
Yeah, so it's an interesting twist in our country, like what goes on that front. I had a moment a couple of weeks back where I'm like, I'm a bourbon drinker. I like a few sort of American things, you know, low and slow barbecue, smoking stuff, and I like bourbons, and I've got quite a collection of them, and I like to have a bourbon after work, and I sort of like, heck, you know, I've had a bourbon every night for probably 10 nights in a row, and I sort of had to stop and go, is this a problem? Am I just enjoying a bourbon, or is it I can't enjoy my evening without having a bourbon?
Becomes
Like
a habit.
I just started to think, you know, like I just sort of had to stop and go, oh, you know, it's like, is this a thing? Yeah.
So that's good that you identified
I was
that.
going to say that.
So
that
that's
you can catch yourself.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
like when I go back to the painkiller thing that I bring up, right? This is a big thing for me because that recognizing what I went through and what I was going through during that whole situation is what kind of planted the seed for me to start this whole podcast and start these conversations. So that's why I'll probably tie back to that quite a lot throughout the podcast. But I was injured. I ruptured my pec February 2020. And then I was taking tramadols, taking whatever, because I had to. I was in a lot of pain. I was having bloody post-traumatic, like waking up in the night having nightmares. This shit was so painful that it actually scarred me mentally. And I was taking painkillers because I had to get to sleep. Otherwise, I'm tossing and turning and it was too sore. But it wasn't until I sit there and think back and I look back at the whole situation. I was still taking painkillers August 3rd when my boy was born, and that's 6 months onwards.
Yeah.
But that entire 6 months, I didn't identify. I didn't look at that and be like, hold on, there's a problem here. It just became normal. And as it became normal, I had to take more and more for it to be anything. But it wasn't until that situation. And then after I identified, I was like, I took 3 tramadols at 12 o'clock at night. Then he was,
That's a lot of
he
tramadols.
went into, Arohali went into labour at 3 o'clock in the morning. So 3 hours afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I had to function
Yeah.
and get my son, delivered and be present for that situation. 6 weeks premature he came, so I wasn't expecting it. But when I look back at that, and I didn't sleep for 3 days after saying I'm not going to use that anymore, because I was using them to go to sleep because it just became normal. And then, it's only recently that I kind of look back at that entire situation. I'm like, okay, so I started off by taking a couple tramadols or one tramadol, and then it became a couple, then it became a few, and then it became every night, and then it became for 6 months. And then when I couldn't take them, I was staying up for 3 days straight. And now I identify that as, well, that's what addiction is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's addiction.
That's addiction, but I didn't realize at the time. So that's why I say, it's really cool that you can go 10 days in.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what this is. This is
Yeah.
what I probably need to do. This is what you've identified.
Yeah, yeah. Should I maybe have a water every night before bed rather than a bourbon?
I think
Yeah.
Nathan's developed a lot of tools. Because you catch yourself, you would have developed these tools and these...
Yeah, I think while I'm an
Or have you always been able to catch yourself on stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think while I'm extroverted, I'm also very introspective in that I think about how I'm behaving. I think about what I'm doing. I'll quite often pull apart an interaction with another person after the fact.
Do you analyse it?
Yeah, and like how did I treat them, or like how did they make me feel, or how did I make them feel, that kind of stuff. And I like sort of think about it. So I'm very good at sort of like almost self-evaluating, how I am with people and stuff. So I'm like, I apply that to other things as well. And like, I'm definitely my own worst critic when it comes to my creative work, with filmmaking and stuff. It's that whole, it's never quite finished, right? You release stuff and then you look at it later and you're like, oh man, I wish I'd.
Would you
There's like 10
consider
things on
yourself
the
a
list.
perfectionist?
Little bit, almost like a little bit of,
OCD?
a little bit of tendencies towards that, like just that neat, orderly, process-driven, like that kind of stuff. I like.
Structure.
Do you ever bite your fingernails?
No.
So have you heard that link between the two? That geniuses bite their fingernails or something like that?
Yeah, I told you that.
You did? Well, because I think I started biting my fingernails because I saw you do it. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
I haven't
that's
bit them in
that's
4 years.
I know, but I
You're
still
lying.
don't.
He started biting his fingernails because you told him geniuses do it. He's like, oh, 100%. I'm going to become a genius by biting my fingernails.
And that's as simple as it is.
So I bit my nails for, would have been 28 years.
Good Lord.
From the age of 6 right up until 4 years.
So you've probably
You're
saved
29.
about $87.50 on nail clippers
Yeah, easy.
in that time.
Yeah, I had to buy some.
He's probably picked up a few bugs.
I don't actually count.
No, he's probably strengthened his immune system.
He probably licked toilets.
yeah.
That's what they say. Licking the toilet seat is what the same
Ah,
caliber of hygiene it is, or whatever.
Oh, really?
They say
because of
something
the
like
junk
that,
under your
because-
fingernails.
Yeah.
But at the
Wow.
same time, everybody's washing their hands every time they go toilet. It's a
Exactly.
common theme.
Well,
to
thanks to
sanitize.
Jacinda. That's
Well,
our new
Jacinda.
thing.
That's
isn't
what I
it?
mean. Common theme to sanitize. Like as you walk into our office at work, you got a sanitize thing on.
well,
Sanitize as you
I'm a
walk
heavy
in.
sanitizer. You've seen
Are
that.
you?
Yeah, you've seen.
Oh,
I'm-
yeah,
I'm
out in the
always-
studio.
I'm
Yeah.
always-
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. Never wash your children's toys. Never. Let them lick dirt, eat the occasional snail. Don't have antibacterial soap in the house. The only way to build a strong immune system is to challenge it. Yeah. So if those kids are exposed to a little bit of bugs, a little bit of germs regularly, they will grow up very, very healthy. Farm kids don't get sick like city kids.
I think it's the Sentinelese. Is that the cult that you'd know? The Sentinelese, I think, is what they're called, but it's like that culture of kind of just people that are still living Amazonian days.
Yeah.
Like hunter-gatherers.
Hunter-gatherers, and we can't go to their island, but they'll shoot us with bow and arrows because that's what they do to people. But if you go to their island, there's the whole risk of they might catch our common cold, and because they've never been exposed to it, they're going to get plagued.
That's right.
That's what happened to, unfortunately, a lot of the Native Americans when the Europeans arrived. Smallpox.
Oh, and it's happened on little islands and stuff all over the place, all through history, and another culture's rolled on in and gone, have our version of Corona, have fun with that.
Their immune system should be perfect because they're sitting there living amongst the
not if they're getting exposed to our bugs. It's a foreign body. It's completely new. So look at what Corona did when it arrived. Our body's never seen anything like it.
Now it's almost a common cold.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we're getting immune to it.
Now people are getting it and getting a runny nose, and that's it.
Not me. I was bedridden about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was.
He's a massive girl, though, eh? That's what it is, eh? He's just a great big baby.
It's the new version of the man flu, but that's a conversation to have right there. What about the man flu?
Mate, that would have killed a small African village. The man flu is not to be trifled with. I don't think women will ever understand the pain, the debilitating lack of energy, you know. I need bring me a cup of tea.
I think you know how we're talking about earlier, men not wanting to talk about their feelings. If we have the man flu, we'll talk about it.
Oh, and my goodness.
That's when we talk about our feelings.
Are we talking or are we just whining?
But we talk about our feelings. I feel sick. Now all of a sudden it's labelled as man flu. Now all of a sudden there's a stigma. Now all of a sudden
I'm not allowed to feel sick because it's the man flu.
Now we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Mrs. went to work and you took a week off. You big wimp. Yeah. What a pussy.
Is there a stigma?
I think all men can relate to it, that's why.
Yeah. What gets me though is the kids will be at daycare, right? They'll pick up something akin to the bubonic plague. They come home, they've got the sniffles for about 3 days. They give it to you, and you are on your back for a week, dying, sweating, praying for Jesus to come and take you. Like
from 6,000 years ago.
Yeah, and it's like, what?
It's not 6,000.
What is... Good Lord. That's a whole other thing. But what are they doing at daycare? And this is the thing, like the kids are licking dirt and eating slugs and stuff and busy growing their immune systems, but they still manage to bring these bugs home that wipe mum and dad out, eh?
We need to be licking dirt and eating slugs.
100%. So this is, I think, part of why... like washing vegetables and scrubbing everything to the nth degree is bad. Now, I'm open to being corrected. I'm sure it's one of the B group vitamins. It might be B12. We used to get heaps of it in the soil on our vegetables, so we wouldn't scrub our carrots to within an inch of their life. Minute traces of soil, we'd get whatever vitamin this was all the time from the soil. Now the only way we can get an appropriate amount in our diet is to take a supplement, because everything is so sanitized, so scrubbed, you know. So like, there's a lot of, I think it's merit. Grow your own veggies, rinse them, but don't go nuts, you know. Like
it's the same with magnesium. So I learnt recently that there's not enough magnesium in the New Zealand soil in which the human body is supposed to intake naturally.
So that does a tremendous amount for the quality of your sleep.
Yep, sleep.
For anxiety.
Yeah. So we actually apparently don't have magnesium-rich soil, and now vegetables that are homegrown
consequently don't have
it. And so I have only just learnt this. I've just bought a supplement, which is a magnesium. It's supposed to help with... I haven't even started taking it. This is how brand new this information is to me. Man. You've done it?
Yeah. I rate it.
Magnesium.
Yes.
I'd make sure I got magnesium and mercury. Make sure to take mercury too.
And so like a lot.
Good for bones and injuries and stuff.
What kicked it off for me was there's a spray that you can chuck under your tongue that gets rid of the stitch, so muscle cramps when you're exercising. Really? Yeah, and it's called something like Stitch Away or No Stitch. I don't remember what it's called. Something like that.
No Stitch sounds
What's
like
in it?
Yeah. And so a lot of I was watching. Let's call them wilderness athletes, lads that like to run around in the hills, hunting, gathering, or just doing like endurance mountain races and stuff. And that they use this stuff. And so off I went to the health store. I'm gonna get me some of that because I'm fat and lazy and not very fit. So I get the Stitch, and that'd be perfect. And it was actually a chemist said. actually, if you take a magnesium supplement, because that's all it is, it'll work way better because it's a slow release. It'll be in your system all the time. You won't need to take it when you get the stitch because you won't, because you've already got an appropriate amount in your body. And he says, and the side benefits is sleeping and anxiety and all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, mean. And it just at the time I was working in a cube farm, so that was me every day in the office in a cubicle, and like the boss would do evil stuff, like he'd roll past, I want to see you later, and he'd walk off, and you'd spend the whole day going, what have I done? What am I in trouble for? Like just over analyzing it, kicking it round and round and round in your brain. And I noticed like that sort of stuff just stopped bothering me as much. It's real weird. I just stopped being so anxious about random crap. And half the time it was just something random, or it was a bit of positive feedback. But the way he'd framed it up, my mind had gone off on a dreadful, doom-filled path. I want to see you later.
So it's actually acting as a stress relief.
Yeah. Yeah, it made a tremendous...
I think it says that on the bottle, but I'm like, oh yeah,
it made a noticeable difference to my mood and my frame of mind, and I definitely sleep better.
You still take it?
No, I've stopped.
Why?
Because I've kind of stopped running around in the hills as well.
Right. So there's no need for you to get the stitch sitting down.
There it is, mate. I'm very busy sitting on my backside editing at the moment. But yeah, I noticed it straight away. And it's a good point, actually, why. And I think the answer is it ran out and I didn't buy any more. And honestly, if I said to my wife, that was really helping me, she'd just buy it. It'd just be in the pantry. It'd never run out. But I haven't verbalized that for whatever reason.
So she needs to watch the podcast. Just be like, hey, wifey, watch the podcast.
Look, I think she'll get 3 minutes in and she'll be like, listen to these idiots. It's worse than watching Nathan at a barbecue yakking with his mates. Like, I'm going to go inside and make a salad or something.
Yeah, because at least there's food at a barbecue.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's food here, isn't there, Peter?
Oh, my goodness. What is going on in the kitchen?
Of course. So, we're getting ready for What the Funk Is That?
Oosh.
But before we jump into that, let's head over to the kitchen real quick. Looking a little empty at the moment. Oh, here he is. He's the Cuzzy B is back.
Cuzzy B.
What's Cuzzy B up to?
Cuzzy B.
Cooking up a bit of a mystery munch.
Awesome.
He showed me it earlier, and oh man, I didn't even know you could eat what you guys are about to eat today.
Seriously, how did it smell? Because I know last week we only copped a little bit of the remnants after the podcast. We went into the kitchen. We were like, "Whoa, that smell is something else." And he's like,
probably smelled like our introduction.
And he was like, "That's the vented version. We had the windows open and the doors open and the whole place was honking." Like, how was the smell tonight?
It's still a bit pungent. It was pungent when I walked in there, but in a different kind of way. So like you were getting like, yeah,
an unpleasant smell.
I'd say it was relatively unpleasant, but not the most unpleasant smell I've ever smelled.
I think the description is probably going to be unpleasant and what gets us.
Well, that's how
he's a chef. He's supposed to be able to cook things and make it nice.
Look, and this is how the mystery munch works, right? It's not supposed to be fun.
No.
It's
a punishment.
It's a penalty.
Consequence.
That's right.
It's
a
penalty,
consequence.
a punishment, a consequence.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's not me tonight by the sounds of this one. However, I may be open to trying it regardless.
Look, because you're kind of going to last one nibble just cause to say you have right to add to that list of weird stuff you've eaten.
But we're definitely not having as much as whoever loses has to have.
That's right. That's right. And look, based on Eddie's inability to identify flavours in food, I think we're safe.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the most limited on this.
I think Eddie nailed about 9 out of 10 ingredients in those chili sauces.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, oh, that's a bit citrusy, and he'd be like, it's lime.
And that would go good on lamb.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, shall we?
Chef.
We can launch right into it if you want.
Yeah, let's have it. I can see a chef, and he comes bearing gifts.
Bearing gifts.
We do have another question, but we could save it for later.
Which fine companies provided this delicious looking?
So, big shout out to Henry's Family Pies in Hawke's Bay for this, for helping us out with What the Funk Is That and our mystery munch. They've hooked us up with a whole bunch of pies. I've always been a bit of a pie man myself. I've always liked mince and cheese pies. That's always been my favourite growing up. Do get into the butter chicken pies, but we've got a whole selection here, Rahwama. So,
run us through the rules. How does What the Funk work?
I don't know. I just heard him say pie man. I kept thinking naked pie man.
I'm just salivating. Like, I'm a steak and cheese man. I think people that eat mince are just lazy. Like, why grind it up? Why not have chunks?
I actually like steak and cheese, steak and mushroom, steak. But I'm not going to get sidetracked. Peter, let's talk about what the funk is that.
And how's it work?
These gentlemen here will attempt to eat food in which they have no idea what they are or what the flavours are, and they need to guess what they think it is. Whoever has the least right at the end will lose the challenge and will be hit with the consequence of a mystery munch.
So, this episode was proudly brought to you by sugar-free Red Bull.
We're
It
only
keeps
getting
Nathan
1/4
going.
each, Brady.
All right, so get tasting, boys. Get tasting. Let me know your guesses just right off the bat.
Okay. Oh, right off the bat.
Yeah. Shove some in your mouth and let me know what your sensations are, boys.
All right, guys. And thank you to Henry's Family Pies in Hawke's Bay. Go check them out. They have a website. The bro's been giving me pies for years, so thank you very much for jumping on board with the podcast and sponsoring the first What the Funk Is That. It was very fitting because me and him have had a good working relationship. I like working with people that make pies. Okay, so this is my taste.
We need smell-o-vision because the smell coming off this pie is just yummy.
That's a really yummy pie.
I'm a little envious, I'm not going to lie. It smells good.
That's a really
Need to
yummy
get
pie.
on Cuzzy B to hook you up in the studio.
Fuck, I'm going to say steak and macaroni
Oh, yeah.
and cheese.
Oh. All right, well, we'll get to the others. That's a pretty solid guess, man.
That's a big bite.
That's a really yum pie,
Get
though.
amongst it. See, this is why mince is wrong. Look
So
at that
the-
big piece of meat.
The concept, once we've got enough crew to assist with, is we will all be blindfolded
Yeah.
and somebody can pop it in our mouths for us.
That's going to end badly. It's going to end badly.
But then you're just basing it off taste, no look. No
Yeah, but I've got
texture,
some trust issues that go
Hey,
with
hey,
being blindfolded.
Here's the mystery munch. Just squeeze the mystery munch.
This
in.
Here's
onion
my
ring
mystery
tastes
munch.
exactly like tittle tittle.
That's really nice.
Oh, that's really nice.
Cuzzy B's cracking up like, what am I going to feed these guys?
Hey.
I want a little bit.
You had your piece.
Rude.
So,
It's just rude.
am I?
What are your guesses off the bat, my man?
That's a braised steak, macaroni.
ASMR.
Am I naming more ingredients, or we'll just keep it there?
As many as you want to, baby.
There's parsley in there. There's definitely black pepper and salt.
Now you're just naming the basics. There's pastry, guys. There's pastry
is-
in the pie.
This is the
There's
problem.
pastry.
I'll go last and I'll just say everything you said
Yeah.
and add one.
You go first this next time then.
Yeah, okay, that sounds reasonable.
And then Eddie can go first.
That's you're not. I'm gonna lick this plate. You can't. You can't have it. That's Oh my god, that's good.
It's
That'd
actually a
be
really,
really
really, really yum flavour.
It really is. The gravy is like a dark, rich gravy.
I don't know if that counts.
No, I'm just commenting. Like it's really. It's not watery.
No.
Like the gravy's got some guts to it. It's real yummy.
Flavour, Nathan. Flavour.
I'm getting like mac and
You
cheese,
can't say that. I already said it.
mac and cheese
No.
steak.
Can
It's
great
in
minds think alike?
It's in a pastry. It's got It's almost like it's got the steak's like lightly peppered.
Definitely lightly pepper.
Yeah, it's got just a little bit of warmth to it, not just the temperature of the pie. A little bit of after heat on your tongue, like pepper.
I think we're all getting a point for this one, to be honest.
Yep, because it's... what was your guess, Dills?
Steak, mac and cheese.
Because you're right on the money, baby.
That
Let's
counts.
go.
That counts. You guys went above and beyond, so you guys lost that one.
I don't think so.
You don't feel like a loser.
No,
Just no.
no.
I'm feeling really good about my guess.
All right, let's go, Nathan. You try this one
Alright,
first, eh?
Fire that plate over here.
And Eddie, you got to do a better job at middlemaning this time.
What do you mean, middleman?
I'm not leaning forward for everything.
That smells incredible. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Looking good.
Right off the bat,
That
without
looks-
tasting that,
Yeah, that looks phenomenal.
I am seeing what I think is kidney, and I'm smelling what smells like curry.
How many pies in total again, Peter?
Uh,
I think we've got 8.
It's a good thing the portions are small.
yeah, there's heaps.
There's heaps
Like,
of pies.
I thought there were like 10.
Okay.
I want to say like curried steak and kidney.
I don't know if I like steak and kidney. I've never really had steak and kidney. Sounds like a mystery munch to me.
I don't know, after that tittle, you might like it.
True. True.
Ah,
It would take a lot to taste anywhere in the realm of the tittle. It's like it's its own flavour, eh?
And texture.
Yeah, that was the thing, Because it had the
rubbery.
rubberiness.
Yeah, I didn't.
And there were
like
like-
And then there was the gristly. Oh no, that was the
Chewy.
balls.
There was the
balls had
occasional bit
gristly.
that sort of had the pork crackling taste and smell, and then you got more of no, that's not.
Yeah, that's asshole.
How we feeling, Eddie?
really nice. That's a mince kidney and green curry pie.
So,
Right on, right on.
I think this is a mince kidney and green curry pie.
I see what you did there. That doesn't count. I believe it's also got pastry in it. For the win! I believe that's a pastry. That's been softly rolled with
how he
freshly
said it-
churned butter.
See how he said it before he even tasted it?
So sure of himself.
Just the colour too, eh? Like as soon as you're looking at it, you're like, oh, that's got the curry colour to it.
It's green curry.
And it smells nice. And yeah.
Beautiful.
You want to know what it is?
Where are we pulling the kidney idea from?
Oh, just I actually can't taste kidney. I'm actually wondering if it's a mushroom myself.
You can't change your.
I can
wouldn't-
so.
You wouldn't be able to taste the mushroom if there's curry.
Yeah, I don't know.
I-
Like, what are those slices of?
It could be chicken heart.
Hang on a second. What we haven't identified here is Dill's long-standing relationship with his particular sponsor and sampling of many of his pies.
I have no. These are unique flavors he's made
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Okay.
These
for
are
the
brand
podcast.
new. These
Okay.
are never. These aren't his stock standard flavors. He's made these specifically for this episode for us to eat.
Well, just that aside, then either of these two flavors we've eaten, he could sell. They would sell.
They
They're
that
delicious.
first one was really nice. Steak
Mac
and
and
mac
cheese.
and cheese.
Yeah.
That was really
God,
well
yeah.
done. I'm going to say, for argument's sake,
You don't think that's kidney? You think it's something
I
else?
don't think it's kidney. I'm going to say, fuck. Let's just go.
Can't say that on the radio.
We're not on the radio. We're on the Making a Statement podcast.
Are we on the internet?
Okay.
We're on
You
the
can't say
internet.
fuck on the interweb.
Good thing this ain't the interweb.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to say mince, curry, and chicken heart for the sake of chucking that in there.
Chicken heart's pretty metal, but it's curry and mince.
Ah!
So y'all were pretty on the money with the curry.
You guys just chucked in the
What are
kidney
the-
and I
what are the
changed it
other
to a chicken
things?
heart.
I don't know
What do you reckon that was?
I think y'all are just like real like gourmet level, you know. There's some liver and some kidney.
I'm getting undertones of TLC.
That Tito's going to make a comeback on pretty much
Oh, it haunts me. It haunts my dreams. I've got no faith that
That's
Cuzzy
what the
B's
pie
not
is.
dicing that and putting it in a pie with some cheese. Try this mince and cheese pie,
Okay,
gentlemen.
We had a corridor about the idea of putting it in a burger.
Oh, yuck.
Hold on.
Oh,
You know-
like onion rings.
No, like a McTittle burger.
McTittle.
The old McTittle.
Oh, yo.
So who wants to see a McTittle burger
And,
get eaten on a
what
mystery
would be
munch?
the literal translation of that? Is that a McAsshole burger, or how does that work?
Oh, my God.
Pretty much. All right,
Oh.
so let's go for this next one. Eddie, you're
Eddie
up.
has to be up first, yeah.
Who's got what's the points looking like, Peter? Is that a kind of a 2 points?
I'm ahead by
each?
one.
You're in ahead by one.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ahead by any.
I said green curry.
Who got the last one?
You didn't say green
Because
curry.
I technically
He
Dill's
didn't-
got it because he
didn't
was right
say-
on the money.
He didn't say green curry either.
You're the judge here, Peter, so you keep track of the score.
All right.
But all three of us said mac and cheese, didn't we? Mac and cheese and steak.
I think you all copied me. I think we should have read it down.
This is why I think we're doing this poorly. It needs to be like silent recording it, and then we talk about it at the end.
Okay, how about
We change the rules halfway through.
change the rules halfway through?
Yeah,
Don't tell us what you think this is, Eddie. I'll eat it, then you eat it, then we'll blurt it
Okay.
out.
Who's going next?
Yeah, I'll go.
See, if I was Cuzzy B, I'd be I'd be putting a little chunk of a different one on each.
Throw people off.
Yeah. Mine tastes like mac and cheese. Really, I'm getting kidney and curry.
Well, I'm getting a McTittle pie.
Kettle.
Oh my god, that smells so good.
Wait till you taste it.
I know what's in that.
I know what's in that.
ASMR plug. Do you
So
guys want to see some sexy men eating and making noises with their mouths?
I can
Tune
drive
in.
up the volume if you want.
Tune in to
Are
the
we
Making a
wiping
Statement
this down?
podcast. No, we'll blurt it out at the same time. I'm struggling. I don't have a definitive
Okay.
answer.
Alright. So we're going to do like a 3 countdown or something, and then we're going to just say what it is?
Yep. Okay. I'm going to. Yeah. Do you want to count us down, Peter, and we'll blurt something out?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Chicken and
Bolognese.
Bacon.
I said chicken and bacon. I think it's minced chicken and
It's
bacon.
bacon, onion, and mince pie.
I feel like it's like a minced bolognese with kidney beans or some shit.
It's Meat Lover's mince pie.
Meat lovers mince.
Yeah.
So there's bacon in it. I'm sure there's chicken in it because I saw a massive piece of chicken in
You
mine.
got all the meat in it.
There's onion in
All the meat in it.
So good.
There's onion in it.
Was there kidney beans in it?
Probably.
So there's for a guy that's just dreamed up a bunch of flavors to test our taste buds. Like, stop mucking around. Just market these. Sell them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
I
right
reckon
now, he makes a mean
What
pie.
I would
They're
love to-
incredible.
Seasonal. Make them seasonal.
What I would love
They'll
to
sell
do
better.
is have the people that are watching this comment which ones that they would want to try.
Yeah.
Let's put that out
Yeah.
there.
And
Chuck
we
a
can
comment
maybe
in.
make it a public pie that they can purchase. What one would you prefer, or out of the ones that we're trialing, which ones would you like
What
to taste?
sounds the best based on our reactions.
Yeah,
Based on your own taste
Let's
buds.
make it happen. You guys comment this stuff, and we'll get the guy to make it go public.
It almost did taste like a meat lover pizza.
It did. It had the
It
had
was
the
close.
barbecue sauce in it. Hey,
Yeah,
it was a
and onion,
barbecue.
the onion.
That's where I was getting the bolognese from. Is that
The
barbecue taste?
Yeah.
I'd eat that all day. That's
I
good.
would. That was nice. Let's go to the next one. Oh, who got the
You-
point here, Peter?
Because you're like,
We're all
again,
off.
all going gourmet level.
Yeah, I think we need to simplify it too. What
I
is
taste-
this pie?
I
What is
taste
the pie when you go up to the
duck
bakery?
liver.
When you go up to the bakery,
Is it a steak and cheese? Is it a potato top? Is it a...
what is that pie labeled?
What's it called? What
on
would the label say?
Getting
the
hints
pie
of caviar.
Yeah.
Some tittle.
A little bit of anchovies.
Yeah.
A little bit of a tittle.
Who's going first?
Oh, I think me this time.
Yeah.
Is this our
It
fourth one?
doesn't matter anymore because we're gonna say it at the same time.
Yeah. It does. That one looks good.
He has
That one looks like it's got a
utterly
rich sauce.
demolished that. Just boom, 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 and he was
That-
straight in with the fork with
this-
whatever was left on the plate. So
I know what that almost looks like a sauce that I make, so I wonder if it is. I'll
This
taste
one?
it.
This one would probably be my favorite.
I'm struggling again.
see, I've got the figure for pie eating. I could do this all day,
Is that why you don't use a fork?
pretty much, mate. That and it's the immune system buzz, right? What'd you say was under the fingernails?
Some toilet hygiene.
Something like that, eh?
Thank you, Cuzzy B. Let's do a shout out to our chef. Our
Shout
Making
out.
a Statement podcast chef.
Shout out to Cuzzy B for providing us with all this pie goodness, man. And for sorting out their mystery munch. Oh, boy.
Can I? Oh, fuck, I don't want that now.
He knows what it is. Oh boy.
I'm struggling with that.
Same.
I don't know how to label that as a pie that you just walk
Let's-
into the shop and purchase.
I've got an idea. You ready for a countdown?
Hang on.
No, because I don't want to get it wrong and I don't want the mystery much.
3, 2, 1.
Steak and Guinness
Casserole.
pie.
What'd you say, Eddie?
He said steak and Guinness.
Steak and Guinness.
Guinness. Oh, again, that's gourmet fancy.
I say casserole.
That's casserole.
It was more runny, than the others. I'm really struggling with the flavors. It's very pleasant. It's really
It's very
yummy,
pleasant.
but it's not a.
It actually tastes like a dinner pie. It tastes like something like if you were having a pie at
That
dinner time.
sauce is nice.
Come on, Nathan.
It's comfort grub. That's like.
You're about
That's
20
just
seconds
like-
behind the
It's
mark.
comfort grub is his answer. That's
Yeah,
Comfort
yeah.
grub.
He's locked
Yeah,
in.
that's locked in.
That's
you get,
locked in.
What is it? Is it
Grandma's,
comfort grub?
grandma's
Peter?
casserole. Comfort grub.
Is it comfort grub?
You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honey sweet bacon. Steak, sweet honey bacon. Wow, that was a lot of
I
flavor.
can taste the honey sweet.
Baconiness.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have got the steak because it was kind of runnier.
Well, I got steak.
I
Oh,
got steak,
so I
but I
wouldn't.
thought it was steak and like
So
a
I
casserole.
just got gravy. I didn't get meat in mine.
He got, what did he say? He locked in something.
Comfort grub.
comfort grub. So,
Tastes like Nana's house.
I think he's
Peter-
behind.
delicious.
Peter, I want to know the scoreboard. When you get a moment, Peter, what's our
I'm getting
scoreboard
quite
looking like?
full.
He's got the I don't know face
I should have written this down.
on. Why am I here? Who made
I'm
this my
thinking,
problem?
I think you're all pretty tight at the moment.
I think Nathan has to be losing with comfort grub locked in that last one. Come
Comfort
on,
grub
that
locked
was
in.
not what
He
that pie was.
doesn't get a point for
Yeah, but
comfort
I-
grub.
Hey, look, I picked the chicken and the meat lovers, and none of you picked that.
I still think I'm winning.
I don't think there was chicken in that meat
There
lovers.
was chicken in that meat lovers pie.
I didn't get chicken in the
It'd be
piece that
interesting.
I ate.
But I didn't get steak in the piece I just ate.
It would be interesting to see what.
Didn't you?
Cuzzy B's going to disassemble the pies now and make sure that everyone gets a little piece of each ingredient to make sure the mouthful is fair.
It would be interesting
That and a
to
large dollop of those beautiful chili sauces.
hear Henry's family's pies take on
On
our flavour decisions.
It's like a taste sensory panel that they didn't ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
probably giving him some ideas.
Maybe.
He's going to be like, let's make
I,
a steak and Guinness pie.
Yeah.
Steak and Guinness is always a good pie.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
like Guinness.
Any dark beer.
It's
Can
nice
you grab
when
that
it's
rich meat?
reduced.
It's me, yeah.
Ask Cuzzy B, he'll tell you. Yep.
See, look, there's a bit of difference here already. Like you can see just rotating these ones. So what like you can see some.
Just chuck it in your mouth, Nate Dog.
That's what she said.
I hope.
I know what that is. It looks.
I know exactly what that is.
I know what that is.
I can just kind of get this little bit with my finger that's trying to ride.
Lock in comfort.
Oh, you won't
cup.
like it.
Take your piece of pie.
We have some technical malfunctions here. The pie's falling off of everything.
That is pretty yummy.
Come on, guys, get some ASMR up in those mics. Turn it up, per.
I was trying to take
take
my
them.
face away from the mic while I was chewing.
How are we finding this one, boys?
Ooh, I know what I'd call this.
I know what I'm going to call this.
I know what I'd call this.
Be interesting if you say the same thing.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to jump in. I'd call this meat and 3 veg. If I was calling it a
I
pie.
would call it a roast beef pie. Roast beef, you got some
that
roast
yours?
veggies.
I'd call it a hungy pie.
Oh, yeah.
A hungy.
What's a hungy?
Yeah, can you explain?
Is that
Elaborate?
like me speaking T-Rayo?
What is a hungy pie?
You know what a hungy pie is?
Elaborate.
I think he means hangy.
You think that's a hungy pie?
Tastes exactly like a hungy when you combine all the flavours.
Cool. He's locking that in. I'm
locking
saying
it in.
something like a roast beef. It's got like roast carrot, parsnip.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a meat and 3 veg.
Actually,
but there was two.
no, I'm not locking in. I'm going to rechange it.
You can't do that.
I'm going to...
You
No.
pinned me down.
No,
to
you
comfort,
locked
Grub.
it in.
Yeah,
No.
you pinned
No.
me down.
Put
to
up,
comfort,
put
Grub.
up. Can
I'm
we please
changing
get
it.
you to
Adjudicate.
apply the rules? Throw the rule book at him. You can't do that. You locked it in.
Well,
You
it's the
said the
same
words.
thing. It's the same thing.
No take back seas on this podcast.
Your hungy pie.
There
What
is
are you
no
calling it?
escape.
I'm gonna say a roast beef pie.
Yeah. Well, you'd want to call it a Sunday roast.
No,
If
you
you're gonna
ain't
go
calling
route.
that. You got
No,
hungy
no,
pie.
I've got hungy pie, but you'd want to call it a Sunday roast.
And you think 3 meat and veg?
No, meat and 3 veg.
Oh yeah, 3 meat and veg was the meat lovers.
That's right.
All right, what we got, Peter?
Steak, roast, veggies, and pepper. So y'all were all kind of right.
Not hungy pie. That's no point.
Well,
Yeah, surely.
Yeah,
surely
I
he
don't-
doesn't get a
I
point.
I
don't
don't think
know,
I've had a
that-
yeah,
that
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
a
It has
hungy pie.
pumpkin, it has all the
Yeah,
meat.
that
No,
redeems
no.
me.
No
So
hungy.
I'm
It had a
now
smoky
losing
flavour.
equally with old mate Motormouth in the middle here, who's doing his best to dodge. Look at that sly grin.
We've had
He's
a
trying
hungy,
so
we've had a
hard to
hungy
dodge
pie,
this.
a grandma's comfort pie.
What it is we both know that Cuzzy B is evil, and neither of us want a part of that
Mystery
mystery
munch.
munch.
Well,
She
you're
is a
going
bit
the wrong
evil.
route. You're going the wrong way about it. Let's go, Nate Dog.
We got another one. How many pies we got? I'm full.
I was up first that time, wasn't I? Yeah, because I pulled it apart and it
Oh,
fell
yeah,
everywhere,
yeah.
so it
Okay.
must be Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah. Not that it matters, because we're yelling it out at the end. It's got a lovely flaky pastry on top. This one, I can hear the crunch as the fork enters the morsel.
Yeah. I already know what this...
Dills
I don't-
is shoveling. It's obviously good.
We shouldn't... None of us should get that one wrong.
I smell that magic meat that I like.
I actually like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've had that in a pie.
Alright. So are we going to get a
We'll
countdown?
let
Are you ready?
We'll let Peter do the countdown.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hawaiian.
Yeah, you're all
I'm
right.
grateful of food.
Nathan, you can't keep missing your cue.
I can't spit crumbs all over the microphone.
He didn't answer. He doesn't get one.
Forfeited a point. There was no response from Nathan. No pie submitted.
You heard him say, we all said the same thing. Judge's decision is final.
My hearing is a little stuffed up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, that's 2 points to Gryffindor.
So where we've got to essentially is Dills is
busy-
losing. Is that right, Peter?
I think
trailing by a wide margin.
I think I'm leading the pack here.
Tra-
I'm
You are
trailing-
not leading.
Trailing by a
safe.
wide
I have
margin.
been way more descriptive.
No, your description's off.
Who's first?
I'll go first, though. Okay.
This one's holding together nicer. Less of the fall party.
I'll give you all my honest score after because I'm kind of keeping it in my head.
Yeah,
Tally.
I think
Oh,
that's
like
a bit of
that.
fun.
I like that.
And then we just sprung with a.
That looks good.
Look at that. That's phenomenal.
I want that for breakfast. So we had a pie that I had for dinner, a pie that I had for breakfast, and there's some lunch pies up in there. So
I'm going to go ahead and say I haven't even eaten this. I would call this a breakfast pie.
I
It
was
looks
going to
like
call it a
bacon and
breakfast
egg.
pie. You can't steal that. But anyways, I think we could eat these pies all day, every day, if we do a breakfast pie, a lunch pie, and a dinner pie. You just got to pretty much whatever you would have for breakfast, whatever you had for lunch, whatever you had for dinner, you just chuck it in a pie.
So you put wheat bix in a pie?
No, you put that in a pie for breakfast. I would say, once we do that countdown, I've got a pretty good idea as to what I'm saying.
3 to 1 go
That's
breakfast
actually
pie.
really nice. It's got a nice
Let's go,
aftertaste.
Peter. Let's count us down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's
The
a
Kiwi
breakfast
Big
pie.
Breakfast
Quiche.
Pie.
I'd call it a quiche. Quiche pie.
Kiwi Big Breakfast Pie. Wow,
I like that.
That's shamelessly stealing McDonald's.
McDonald's?
Yeah. So
Well,
I don't think he's called it that
Who
for
do you
that reason.
Who do you think we're stealing with the McTiddle? Like, come on.
Nobody's stealing that.
No, that's
No.
that's what's it
I'd
called?
say
What's
it's
it
a
called
quiche
when
'cause
you?
It's got tomato on it.
I'm sure to go
Stamp
good
it.
with lamb though. Surely
Yeah, probably. Eddie, what's your thoughts?
that'd go good with lamb.
No,
Tomato quiche.
McTiddle pie. Would it go good with lamb?
Lamb McTiddle.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll have to taste it to see if you like it.
The problem is, Cuzzy Beacon here. You're just feeding him ideas for the mystery munch. It's going to end badly.
Oh, we've fed him a few ideas. He was there when we come up with that concept. What was that one, Peter?
Sweet chili, meat lover, and egg.
Oh wow, none of us got that.
Yeah.
Sweet chili meat lovers with egg.
That was
Bacon,
what the
eggs,
nice
big
little
brother.
aftertaste was.
I think
That's
Kiwi
why
Big
it's
Breakfast.
here.
The sweet chili.
There's a little bit of heat there.
All right,
I thought
is
pepper.
this the last one, Cuzzy B? Yep. Last one. So this one must be the tiebreaker. Because I think we're all losing.
I think, but Dills, you're trailing by so much. The only tie that'll be broken will be between Eddie and I.
I know.
Clearly.
I like that you're saying that because if this goes to the
That's
judge's
kind of-
scorecard and this ain't 30-27,
He did say he's
That's-
roughly keeping.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Dills is kind of ahead
Ah,
with these
yes.
guesses. I've been
That's-
keeping a note.
Yeah. He's got quite a refined palate.
yeah,
Indeed.
I've eaten a lot of food. Let's go with this one, Nate Dog.
Oosh. Already, this looks
Oh, that's
rich and dense, and it hasn't fallen apart. Like it's holding its shape when it's been cut. Like a lot of pies, like will ooze and all fall apart. This one hasn't been cut very well. How are we going to do that? Grab a side, Eddie, and we'll just pull.
Easy.
Oh, look,
Can't-
see, you've got all the meat. So I've got a gravy and something pie. you saw that.
Is that a grandma's comfort?
No, I don't know, but it's a gravy.
A grandma's comfort hungry pie.
It's a gravy and corn pie for me.
Wow.
Oh yeah, man, I know what I'm calling that. That is incredible. Are you gonna count us in? Because I've finished my mouthful, and you guys keep catching me with a full mouth.
You
Count us
boys
in.
ready?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Steak and
Peanut
chocolate.
butter?
Yeah. Steak and peanut butter.
Oh damn it!
Satay.
Yeah.
Oh, satay steak.
Satay steak.
Damn it!
What did you say? What was yours?
Steak and chocolate was my first thoughts.
You didn't get the peanut
Yeah, I
slab
did.
taste?
Well, I've got no. I just got gravy.
I
gravy.
think the gravy was
Gravy and a
the
peanut.
steak.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
What's going on there?
Okay.
Yeah, satay steak.
What was that, Peter?
Sorry, my sound just left my headphones. It was steak peppered chocolate bar, Whittaker peanut slab.
But I just said peanut slab.
That's where the
But I
peanut-
said steak and chocolate.
Yeah.
That was my first
and
thing
I
I said.
said peanut
peanut-
slab and steak, so I win that.
You didn't say peanut slab and steak.
That's
I
where the peanut
swear.
taste
You,
is coming
you,
from.
there was no slab in
I
that.
swear
You
I
know
was
this is
thinking
recorded,
it.
eh? We can
I
push
swear
rewind.
I was thinking it.
I don't
be
care what
fair,
you were
Just
thinking.
because I didn't think it
To
out
be
loud.
fair, I can't taste the chocolate.
Oh, that's all I could taste. My first
Really?
hit was chocolate. Yeah.
So that was steak and peanut slab.
Yep.
What kind of a... That's a weird combination,
Damn,
but
it's
it
good
worked.
though, right?
It really
works.
was yum.
Yeah, but I mean, who figured out peanut butter and jam, or peanut butter and honey, or Marmite and cheese?
Marmite and
That's
cheese.
yum.
Marmite and
I
cheese.
actually like veggie
I
Marmite
do
cheese.
macaroni and cheese. People think this is odd, but I do macaroni and cheese. Get a little bit of Marmite and stir it through the bowl.
Oh,
and people
boom.
are like, why do you do that? But
Because
like
it's
Marmite
awesome.
and cheese.
Yeah.
Goes well on crackers, goes well on toast, goes well on sandwich. Why would it not go well in pasta? It does. It's amazing. Life hack, guys. Try out Marmite cheese macaroni.
Just a little bit.
Maybe
Don't
that
necessarily
first
want
pie we had, the steak macaroni cheese, a little bit of Marmite.
Marmite in it.
A little bit of Marmite, and then you got a Kiwi legend, a mythical pie that...
We'll have to chop out this little piece, send it just to these fine folk, because those are some pretty epic pies, eh?
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
And a reminder to everybody, if you're watching this, comment what pies you would like to try. Out of all of those ones that we just tried, or even your own invention of a pie, maybe we could get that made and we can try it.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, just make sure you comment what pies would you like to try, or what pie would you want to create. We could try and make that happen on this podcast.
I tell you what, that last one, hands down my favourite, because I've got a sweet tooth.
Good.
I could eat one of those.
Can you
Hey, that's a
pick a
dessert.
favourite?
That's a dessert pie. We've got a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and a dessert pie out of all of that.
No, that and you've got your Friday night drinkies pie, because there's the Hawaiian one when you just feel like pizza but can't be bothered ordering one.
Yes.
Yep. You've got your Sunday roast pie.
That's right, Nana's comfort grub pie.
You can
so
eat
good.
pies all
So
day. So
good.
thank you, Henry's Family Pie, for allowing us to fulfill our dietary needs and our daily meals through the form of a pie.
Henry's Family
Can
Pies.
you
off
pick
the
a
hook.
favourite?
My favourite. What were the flavours again, Peter? Can you run them back real quick if you have them?
We have steak mac and cheese pie,
I did like
curry
I like-
mince. We have meat lover mince pie with all the meat in it, all the meat you can dream of. Steak sweet honey bacon. That one's tough. Steak roast veggies and pepper. Mince Hawaiian pizza. Sweet chili meat lover and egg. Bacon and eggs big brother. Steak peppered chocolate bar Whittaker's peanut slab. That last one sounds pretty good. I'm not
It
gonna
was
lie.
pretty good. That Hawaiian pie, I don't think I've ever had pineapple in a pie. They argue, does it go on pizza? Well, I could say
It doesn't go on pizza.
It
It
goes
doesn't-
in
it doesn't
pie.
belong.
Not traditional pizza.
No, but it goes in pie.
I'm really torn because
My
that-
favourite, steak mac and cheese.
Yeah, so for me that was a real comfort grub,
It was
kind of
nice.
like real homely, delicious. But I really like that dessert pie, and it's that I'm torn between the two. So
My
good.
my favourite was the green curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, that said, as we rolled into the spicy sauces the other week, you were like really enjoying yourself, eh?
That
Like,
wasn't spicy, but
yeah, but like those flavors, obviously they
Yeah.
tick boxes for
They
you,
tick
eh?
boxes.
We need to do a collaboration. Fire Dragon Chili's cross with Henry's Family Pies, and
yeah,
let's
hot
make
pie.
some hot challenge pie
Hot
Let's get
challenge
these
where
guys
we can do a
collaborating.
heat seat. That is just a unique pie made specially for that episode. That
Yeah.
would be so cool. So I'm chucking that out there, manifesting. That
Yeah.
will be amazing. One thing I'm going to say very quick is I just forgot what I was saying. Now, what do we got here?
Shall we bring in the mystery munch?
Well, how about you do the judge's
We
scorecard,
gotta,
the judge's decision here?
He's bought two
before-
pieces. I'm very, very disturbed by the fact that there are two pieces.
Let's go. What's happening here, Peter?
So, I can smell it. Oh, I can smell
it
it.
doesn't look
What
nice
is
at
That
all.
is.
It looks like shit.
It actually
It actually
does.
looks like he's scooped shit and put it in
It actually
pie.
does. The pastry looks fine. The
It's
filling
green.
looks wrong.
Okay, is this a McTiddle pie?
Do you want to know what it is before you consume
Nope.
it?
No, hold on. I want to know who's consuming
points.
it first.
Yeah.
He's
What's the-
smiling like a
what's the
Cheshire
judge's
cat,
decision?
you prick.
What's the judge's
It's
decision?
not. It's not
That
Dill's.
looks terrible.
So, if I deliberate with my score here in the judge's seat, I'd say Dills was ahead. It was a close one between both of you. Sorry, fellas here. Nathan and Eddie.
Yes.
So, it was close, though. But the thing that threw me off, I'm sorry, Eddie, was that hangi. I was like,
And I nailed the chocolate.
you did you? I didn't hear you,
I said
sorry.
steak and chocolate. Yeah.
Good on you. So, Oh, man,
Eddie.
I don't want to throw Eddie under the bus because, the what is it that you have? The kidney stones. Man, I feel stink.
Don't. There should be impartiality.
Yeah.
There should be
Non-bias.
no emotion.
No bias.
All right.
We signed
I'll
up for
try,
this
man.
willingly.
What are they eating on today's mystery munch?
No,
Peter?
or do you want to eat it and then be told what way around would you want it? Because we're gonna
You know
try,
what? Don't
we're
tell me.
gonna try it regardless.
Do you guys want to,
Don't tell me.
because there's part of me that doesn't want to tell you guys first.
I'm gonna shut my eyes and I'm gonna try.
eat a little piece,
I'm gonna try.
and then
See
you can
what
tell us
colour
what you
it is.
think's in it. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Don't tell me.
I won't tell you. It smells amazing.
I don't want no more.
Oh, look at that! It looks delicious.
I just want to taste.
It's got a lovely texture.
Ready?
It's very firm. A nice, rich-looking gravy.
I'm going to get a close-up on this. Oh, that
And
looks like
everything about his
shit.
face says no thank you. That's I don't know what is in my mouth. Why am I doing this to my body? Make it stop, make it stop.
You see
He's
what I
going
mean?
in for another forkful.
You see,
What
you
the
see
hell?
what I mean by is that edible?
Look at
What
that.
the funking is this? Because he's trying to work out what the flavours
Yeah,
are.
He
I'm
can't
trying
figure
to.
it out, so he's going to take some more. But based on his face, I don't want to try this at all, and I'm not going to try this. I've made my decision. I'm putting my fork down.
I got to know why it's green.
I think because it contains intestine of some sort.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Yuck.
I don't blame you, man. You want to know what it is?
Hold on. No, I want Nathan to try his piece first.
Not happening.
You have to.
No, I don't.
You have to.
I'm
Come
not the
on.
loser. It's not happening.
Oh, hold on. Was there only one loser?
Yeah.
Oh, was Edie the loser?
Yeah, he stitched him up. That was it.
Oh.
That's why I felt so bad.
I missed that.
I
Oh,
don't like it.
which is really motivating me to try it, not.
What is it?
So, it is a combination, I believe, of heart and kidney, vanilla squid ink,
Oh, that's that. Yeah.
fish sauce, wasabi, and toothpaste.
Oh, so the squid ink's giving it
I
that
can't
colour.
even-
I've had a squid ink risotto before, and it was fantastic.
Hold on. Toothpaste.
I can't even taste the
There's
wasabi.
some-
I wish there was more wasabi in. I
Gotta
love
balance
that
that
stuff.
pH out.
There's
You'll know
some
how it is.
toothpaste in there.
Yep.
That's an odd concoction.
Oh man, that's gross.
Well,
That's why I was asking myself, is that edible?
Cuzzy B's evil.
I'm actually going to be okay not trying that one because I
Yeah.
don't know how I'll tell people. I just had a heart, a
That's-
kidney, a wasabi, toothpaste, squid ink pie.
See, but
That's
all
why-
of those components are edible.
It's just, would you eat them all together?
That's
Yeah, so
the,
just a
that's the
crap
problem
flavour.
with that is you get really inconsistent flavors. It's
And
they're
vanilla
not,
squid ink.
They're
It's
not
not
blending.
supposed to be consistent. It's not anything for you to be like, what's this? I taste a little bit of squid ink in there.
Oh, delicious.
That's not what that's
tittle
for.
tittle.
The
Hook me
texture,
up.
the texture's all right. It's just the flavors. It's weird. It's,
Next week we'll put tittle tittle on our fingers like burger rings and eat them off. Just like kids at school.
What was your final kind of,
Look
scenario
at his
with
face.
that there, Eddie?
His face says everything we need to know.
Let's get a
It's
close up
strange.
on his. Let's make sure we're looking at Eddie right now. We want to look at that face and
He's just happy. He's in a happy place.
I'm in a real happy place. No, it's weird.
It's weird.
It's probably the weirdest thing I've ever eaten. Not
He
the
says,
ugliest. The
choking
weirdest.
back a quiet vom.
there's squid ink, heart, kidney.
It was vanilla squid ink
toothpaste.
and toothpaste. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not the ugliest thing I've ever had.
It's
but
an odd concoction.
It's weird. It's very strange.
what I'm actually hoping as well is that the fans, the people that are watching, the listeners, and all the rest of it can comment what they want us to eat on a mystery munch. What's the worst thing that you've ever eaten?
try.
What's something that you would love to see us get punished with? Comment that. Put some links. Let us know because we will eat it and it will be a punishment for sure.
Oh, that's weird, eh?
Mystery munch done and dusted.
Mystery munch done.
What else we have on our lineup there, Pitter, before we
Can
wrap
have
up for the
another
night?
question? We got our last question, haven't we? The
Yeah,
countdown.
must be another question.
Countdown Woolworths.
Yeah, we got one more. We got one more question for y'all, but I want to give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. Shout out to Kia Ora FM 89.8. Once again, check out your boy from 3 till 6 p.m. weekdays to Wā Whakatā Drive Show. You'll be hearing my sultry voice breaking it down for you. And jamming some R&B and hip-hop, talking that smack. Y'all know how it is. Big shout out to Kia Ora FM 89.8 and On Target Productions. Check them out on their social media. That is On Target Productions. For all of your videography needs, check them out, man. Also, big shout out to Henry's Family Pies at Hawke's Bay for helping us out with those pies, man. Hooking us up. And big shout out to Fresh Pork NZ in Levin for helping us out with that mystery munch as well. Absolutely diabolical.
That's a good word. Is that the word for it?
Diabolical. That'd go good with lamb.
That would go great with lamb. That would go good with lamb.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah.
Oosh.
So
Okay.
what was that last
I
question?
do
Peter?
like that diabolical.
So it's a bit more wholesome than those other ones, bit less deep, but very important in my opinion. What's your opinion on the rebranding of Countdown to Woolworths? Very controversial.
I think it's odd timing with the economy being where it is. It's probably better things that people could have put their money into at this current state. But
Yep.
I mean, I don't look too deeply into it. But you guys, I want to hear your insight.
I think it's a homecoming. It's been really irritating me. I worked at Woolworths when they had the choice between Woolworths, Foodtown and Countdown. Shut two of the brands, kept Countdown. But what messed with my head was Countdown always had the W in the shape of an apple, which is the Australian Woolworths logo. So you've got the supermarket chain whose logo is a W when it's called Countdown, and then that just offended my OCD. So I'm glad they've ironed that out just for me. Now it's Woolworths with a W for a logo. I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't think they should have ever rebranded themselves when they bought them out Progressive. They should have just kept it Woolworths anyway.
Yeah.
I think it was a waste of money converting them to Countdowns for the New Zealand market, then converting back.
I think the
Waste of
thing
money.
that, or the perception was that Countdown was the cheaper brand, the better value for money, which is
I'd
why
say
they went
so.
with it. But it's just a stupid waste of money, eh? Like it just kind of pisses me off. Corporates do that all over the place all the time. Oh, we'll just redo our logo and spend $1 billion on it, and
Just so
Well,
we
I
can
don't-
save a few
see-
cents because
see, I
people are
don't-
going to think we're cheaper.
yeah.
See, I don't know why they didn't just keep the Countdown and then bring the Woolworths back and then make that the premium shop and still keep the Countdowns and convert some over to the Woolworths.
It's kind of
Foodstuffs does it with the
yeah, but
with
it's
the
kind
New
of
Worlds
it's
and
kind
the-
of fake
and the-
competition though, isn't it? It's like Spark and Skinny,
Well, Foodstuffs doesn't do it.
same company, you know.
Well,
Packet-
that's another one as well. You speak in there. Spark went from Telecom to Spark, but now we've just had Vodafone go from Vodafone to One.
Yes.
Why? Who's going to search up One and find Vodafone?
And hey,
One.
corporates, we don't care. Like I couldn't give a shit, eh? Just is the service good? Is your product good? Like I don't care what your brand is, and wasting money rebranding, which ultimately I have to pay for. Ultimately, the cost of that rebrand is on our grocery bill.
Yeah, we'll go there. I'll go there.
Of course it will. That's where the money came from, our grocery bill. So I just paid a bunch of money for you to change your name. Like,
And now they can use the economy and the current state of it to up those prices, and it's kind of unrecognised. It's just a part of inflation, but really, it's actually going up. because
it's
we're
like
paying for their
it's
branding.
like eggs, right? They're almost $1 an egg.
They are, yeah, pretty much.
That's right. We've known for yonks that change in legislation was coming. I'll be curious to know how many people or how many businesses have already made the change, sorted themselves out. That price of eggs is never ever going to come back down again. It's like fuel. It's
not
just
gonna come
that's the new normal now. We can get away with it. That's what we charge. That's what they pay.
The problem is, I've been first-hand inside of a chicken farm, helping them build the cages that were coming, into play to allow for this. What are they calling it? Free range?
It's
It ain't-
free range,
It's not free range. I've been there. I've seen it. It's just bigger cages.
Yeah.
It's not free range. It's
Well, it's not on a paddock. They're not out in the paddock. They're still
They're not frolicking in the sunshine.
they,
On the wide
they've
open
got
plains.
better living, but they
Absolutely.
are free range
Yeah,
chickens.
yeah.
And these places had this was, I'd say, almost 4 years ago
Yeah,
that
so
I was
is-
sitting there trying to
Is
build
there
this.
still a shortage, or did we use the shortage to ramp up the price? That's the new normal. There's no shortage anymore, and that's your price now because suckers like us pay it because we like eating eggs in our pies and on our breakfast.
I don't know.
Well,
I
I've
think
actually stopped buying them.
we need
'cause they're just too
chickens.
expensive.
We need
Yeah.
chickens.
I don't buy them.
Yeah,
No, you get them for participating in golf tournaments, didn't you?
That's
say?
it, that's
That's
the-
like,
That's what you get if you get the worst score on the day.
but
that's
I mean, that's a
the-
pretty good prize
that's
nowadays.
the option though, isn't it?
That's
It's
a pretty
just a
good prize.
vote with your feet.
Vote with your feet.
Yep.
Yep, just don't go into that shop anymore. Like
That's
just
what I
yeah,
do.
yeah,
I always do.
yep. Don't give them the dollar. Don't give them the airtime.
Yeah, once something gets too out of price, I just stop buying.
Except fuel, right?
The problem is,
Yeah.
though, eggs, they go up.
There's
Then you've
no
got
way around
everything
that.
at a bakery going up because they just use eggs for everything they make.
So can
Well-
I go on a minimum wage rent? So
That's where I was going to go with it. This is
so-
why it happens.
Yeah, so everyone's like, the minimum wage is too low.
Stop
The minimum
bumping it
wage is
up.
minimum wage is too low. So we lift the minimum wage.
Yeah.
Now what?
So now what happens is every
It's
small
massive
business
trickle
employing
effects.
people on the minimum wage has to sell their products for more money to be able to pay those employees.
Mm-hmm.
So let me frame this up for you because I'm old and wrinkly. When I was young, a Big Mac combo was $5,
Mm-hmm.
and the minimum wage was just under $8. Now a Big Mac combo's around $15, and the minimum wage is around $24. Everything's just multiplied by 3. So the people on the minimum wage they're earning more money, but they can't buy any more with it. It has exactly the same buying power. So lifting the minimum wage is never the solution.
No.
I
It's
have 2 points to
anything.
that conversation. One, you lift the minimum wage. Yeah, the minimum wage went up, but you're not matching that with everybody else that's above minimum wage. So now our gaps are closing. We're above minimum wage, but as that rises, we go closer to the minimum wage. You know what I mean?
That's right.
The gaps they close in. They don't stay the same. It's not consistent. The other situation there
Doesn't grow your middle class.
is you're talking right there about when you were young.
Yeah.
I'm still young. I'm 27. When I came into the workforce at 17, the minimum wage was $12 something.
Yeah.
And now it's $24 something, and this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So 12 Big Mac combos were about that price when I was buying them 10 years ago after the pub. It's actually happened drastically in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because if you look back, minimum wage, $12.40, I think it was when I was 17. Now it's $23 something.
Like that, 22,
I'm
23
gonna,
bucks, somewhere in there.
I'm gonna jump in and tell you how it also hurts small business, because you bump up the minimum wage. Your logistics skyrocket on small business.
Yeah.
Logistics is where they're gonna hurt. the most.
Everything that comes on a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there was a time where 100...
The worst thing that can happen is petrol price hikes and minimum wage going up, because that's going to kill your logistics. Once your logistics is done,
Everything's more expensive.
yeah,
Every
and
single
small
thing.
business do not have the money to survive that, and that's why they go out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got that courier van coming to my house with a few things in it, whereas foodstuffs can afford to fill the whole truck.
Have we seen the price of just postage nowadays? You sell something on Trade Me, you try
Yeah.
to just send it somewhere, you're
Yeah,
looking
no.
at fucking $10 plus
It's
just to
insane,
send
eh?
something little.
It's insane.
It's just ridiculous.
Back in my day, a litre of milk was $1.20. Yeah, it's just the way it's going. It's hard, and it's hurting. It hurts everybody. $100,000 used to be a big salary,
Nah, it's not anymore.
you know, and it just isn't anymore.
No.
It just isn't. For the longest time, we were playing cops fresh out of police college, you know, like circa 50 grand, less than 50 grand, like 45 or something for the first couple of years, or some nonsense like that.
When I went through the cadet, it was 64 and a half. What was
Nah,
it when you went?
100% not 64. I
What
went
were
through
you-
police recruitment all the way to police college before I got kicked out, but that's another story for another podcast.
Oh, we'll save that. It's a good story.
That's a podcast story, but I went through police college, got my date for police college, got kicked out of police college, but at that time, I was going in for a wage of 52,000 or 53,000.
that's the training.
No, it's not. No, this is your
And
first
that
2
is-
years as
that
a
is-
constable.
That is to step into harm's way.
that's to
That is to, you know.
Be on the front lines
That's right.
as a
They
constable,
changed that a lot then.
doing
Yeah.
your job as a police officer,
And
putting your life
the
at
flip
risk.
side of that is an advanced care paramedic coming to save your ass after a street fight or whatever. You know, their base salary was about 55 grand. It was just rubbish. You know, these are people that are working shifts. I'm happy to say it's improved now. Like, I've got friends who work in that industry that are on much better money now, but like, they were only on good money because they were doing long hours, not because their hourly rate or their salary was
Yeah.
any good. It's just,
What kind of
it's
hours were
insane.
you doing? Because you did that for a bit.
yeah,
Doing 12-hour days?
yeah, 12 to 14 hour shifts, often
Really?
10 or 12 hour days and 14 hour nights, and then run-ons as well. Like, you know, you can't just like boot someone out of an ambulance because your shift's finished.
You're right.
You know, yeah.
You're doing overtime with
Yeah,
you like
that's
it or
right.
not.
You're taking them all the way to hospital.
You can't
and
just be
making-
like, oh, we're halfway to Palmer.
yo,
You can
we're
hitchhike.
done.
You good?
Yep. We out.
Yeah, but in saying that, you just mentioned the triple figures. 100,000 used to sound like a big, massive salary, right?
And it's just not
$1 million
anymore.
house. What did that used to sound like?
Yeah.
That sounded like a mansion.
Now
What
that
is that?
mansion.
Now that sounds
That's
like
a
every
standard
other house
house.
on your street.
That's
yeah.
a house. That ain't no mansion.
That's a meth shack in Auckland.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
See, that's
scary.
crazy,
eh?
eh?
It's
crazy.
scary. It's almost like you look at some of those countries whose economies have completely collapsed, you know, and it got to the point where they were having to print $1 million banknotes and then $10 million banknotes and then $1 billion banknotes. Like Zimbabwe had this happen.
Really?
You know, so I've got a couple of $100 billion banknotes. And I have great fun giving them to people for Christmas and stuff. I give them $1 billion for Christmas in their card.
What's it translate to New Zealand dollar?
Oh, so now those banknotes aren't in circulation anymore, but you can buy them for $3 or $4 on the internet. So you buy one, chuck it in a card, and give someone $1 billion for Christmas just because why not? It's cool.
I actually like the sound of that. What
Yeah.
was it transferred to when it was eligible?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Like nothing. Yeah,
That's just
yeah.
how shocking the
Yeah,
economy
yeah.
you
is.
It's
get
like
one of
take
them,
a
like
$1 million
2000?
note in and buy a loaf of bread.
When
Nothing.
did you grab one of those? 2006.
Oh no, I'm grabbing them now. Like
Oh,
they're
yeah?
still, they're still
They're
like that because they're collectible, so
they're
they're on eBay
collectibles.
and yeah. That's
Yeah,
a that's
'cause
a
I
whole
think-
other thing.
I think Zimbabwe would have collapsed around to 06, 07.
And
Did it recover?
yeah,
Sort of.
yeah, you need
Not
to
really.
need to push the reset button, right? And that's the whole thing about the difference between currency and value, and they're not the same thing. So a loaf of bread is a loaf of bread. It's worth one loaf of bread. What you pay for it in currency will go up and down, if that makes sense. So like when the Russian economy shat its pants, people were taking like a wheelbarrow of money home as their wages or off to the supermarket, like because it was so valueless. Yeah, but that
Because
loaf
they
of
just didn't put it into $1 billion note.
that's right. So the loaf of bread was still only worth a loaf of bread, right? This is why guys get into like precious metals and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
it doesn't lose its value.
it's value, not currency. Yeah, that's right.
Right, yeah.
Totally different thing.
I've actually looked
Well,
into that.
a currency's got to be backed by something, a commodity. So
Yeah,
it's either got to be gold, silver, well, the American is backed by the petrodollar.
something rare, something of limited quality. Because
Because you got to be able to cash it in and trade it
well,
in for
government's
something.
just proved you can just print infinite money.
But
Like,
what happens if it is limited and all of a sudden there is no more?
Yeah, that's how you get value, right? Because now you've got scarcity.
Yeah.
So there's no scarcity with cash because you can make more anytime. And governments do all the time. Right through COVID, most world governments have been printing money to prop up their economies.
So
all
it
that actually
dilutes your currency.
dilutes the value of the
value,
currency.
yeah.
You're exactly
Because
right.
there's more of
More
it.
That's right. That's why your eggs
Supply
are
and
$1
demand.
each. God damn it.
Yeah. Capitalism, supply and demand. That's how. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more
That's it.
money there is in circulation, the least it's worth.
We run the risk of adding an hour to your podcast.
I
just
have
like that.
I have a
Yeah,
question. We
yeah,
can
yeah,
speak on these. We can pick these back up. And what I'm
Yeah.
very excited for is people commenting and letting us know their thoughts, and then telling us points that they would like us to discuss.
Absolutely. Doesn't have to come out of our crazy brains. If
does
you've got
not.
something cool you want to hear us thrash out,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, chuck a question in our bucket of hard questions.
I'm going to ask a hard question. What would you say is the point of recovery? What would you do as the Prime Minister right now? If you had a chance, Nathan, as the Prime Minister,
Well, I
to
wanna
make a
answer
decision,
this. I'll
what would your
I'll change
you,
one
you,
law.
You can answer next, but Nathan first.
I'm quite right-leaning, so I would make some changes to the way benefits are just given away, because I feel like it almost encourages generational reliance on them. Parents almost teaching their kids how to get the most
the
out of the
state,
benefit
eh?
system. Yeah,
It's a
I've
left-wing
always-
tactic.
I've
Become
always-
reliant on the state.
I've always thought that somebody on the benefit should have to do maybe like 10 hours, 20 hours community service or something like
that's
that.
where I'm heading with it.
And
Yeah.
then they earned their benefit, but
That's
it's
right.
also tidied up our country.
I'm left enough to know that we should help those that can't help themselves, but I'm sort of right enough that I'm not comfortable with helping people that are just outright lazy.
Would
And
you
there's- and there's
consider
plenty of
yourself a moderate or
More right than moderate, I think.
slightly right?
Yep, absolutely.
Slightly right.
What
Me
would
too.
your law change be
change it?
if you were the Prime Minister for a day? We're looking at Eddie Lamb up on that podium, and he's making his
All right.
first
So,
thing in cabinet.
so the biggest issue New Zealanders deal with is your living costs. So the next cabinet should go in there and reduce living costs, and the biggest living cost you've got is your accommodation. You've got to pass laws on accommodation. You've got to devaluate all the properties in New Zealand. You've got to also go into the banks. You've got to force the banks to drop the interest rate. That's it. You'll balance it out.
Then hopefully I can buy a house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because now you're gonna have disposable income.
Speaking
so now you
of,
can save for your first deposit.
Dill's just bought his first house this last weekend,
Awesome.
been, and I have seen what those interest rates look like, and they're not nice.
They're not nice.
They are not nice.
So you look at the average wage in the current system, you're never going to save for a deposit on a house worth 1.2 million.
I genuinely worry about that for my kids. How do they get into their first
'Cause they
home?
need 20%.
Drug
yeah.
dealing,
And if they're,
Or your drug growing, drug supply maybe.
OnlyFans,
if they're paying $850
Feet videos.
feet videos.
if they're paying
With drugs in the
$850 a week for rental properties,
Drugged out feet videos.
Drugged out
Yeah.
feet videos, life hack, money making.
if your kids are paying
Write it down,
$850 a week for a rental property, and
Yeah.
earning, if they're lucky, 58,000 after, then you got tax, right?
This is the chicken and egg,
When
right?
are they ever going
that's
to
right.
save? KiwiSaver's not going to do it because
Nah.
by the time 20 years of KiwiSaver, the
Yeah.
houses keep going
creeping
up in value,
Yep.
and they keep missing the
And
mark.
it's the chicken and egg. You
Yeah.
can absolutely afford a mortgage if you're renting,
Yeah.
because you are paying a mortgage.
You're paying a mortgage.
You're paying a mortgage. You're paying the rates, and you're paying the insurance
Exactly.
and the repairs and maintenance on that property.
Yeah.
And some
And a
people,
rent.
yeah, that's right. And they foolishly think, oh, it's much better renting because I can just hit the landlord up to fix stuff. And it's like, you're paying for that
There's-
in your rent.
That's another law I'd pass, and I've told you this in the past. I'd make it illegal to be able to own more than 2 properties.
You weren't allowed to make multiple laws.
Yes.
You had one day with one conference.
What's
in
Prime
your
Minister
cabinet.
Dill's doing for his day?
What are you doing?
I'm not much of a politician.
It's quite topical with the election on. I
It
do
is.
laugh.
It's
They
very-
they are like children.
I would make.
I watched the debates the other night. It was terrible.
Billy
I turned it
Connolly
off.
said it best when he said, "Don't vote. It only encourages them."
I turned it off. It was. I couldn't watch it.
I would make dental.
Me too, bro.
Make dental work free for under 30s.
Oosh, that it actually do something meaningful and positive.
Okay, who came up with that one? Was
who-
that ACT?
Who funds it?
Was that Labour?
Who funds it?
Who funds it? The taxpayers has to fund it. If he's,
Yeah.
Yeah, probably you.
Yes, you don't get a tax cut and free dental care because it's not free.
Yeah.
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 Taxpayers have to pay for it.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
It's a
I'm
social-
I'm
it's a
just
so-
I'm just
it's a
copying
social
Labour's
policy.
latest political
But
move.
doesn't 30 doesn't help because your teeth don't start decaying until you.
But if you're going to the
Look after
dentist
them,
up
brush
until
them.
30 for free, I'm somebody. I haven't gone to the dentist probably since I was 20.
Brush your teeth, kids.
They start decaying later in life.
Yeah, but they start decaying nowish to create the decay later in life
What do you
because
reckon
you don't
all
look
those
after
energy
them until
drinks
then.
are doing to them? They're just quietly
Yeah.
melting them
But
in
if
your
I
face.
was going to the dentist
enamel.
if I'm going to the dentist for free all the way up until I'm 30, I
You're
doubt
gonna
that
go
when I
regularly.
doubt that when I'm 40 I'm going to have bad teeth.
Mm.
You got bad teeth at 40 because you stopped going to the dentist at 18 when it stops becoming
Here's
free.
the
Maybe.
challenge now. That like our healthcare system now is so damn broken, you know, and we can't tolerate a tax increase with the cost of living. How do you fix that? You know,
You
where does
go
that
on
money,
strike.
living.
We go on strike.
Where does that money come
Why does
from?
the whole country not go on strike? The doctors are going on strike. The teachers are going on strike. Why don't the working people go on strike?
What are you striking for, Dills?
Well, less tax.
So your healthcare can be worse, and your education can be worse.
No.
This is the
so
challenge,
So
right?
they
This is
start
the challenge,
choosing
balance the
wisely as to where they spend it.
Yeah, that's never going to happen, eh? That's our challenge, you know. Like we're trying to decide if we should use red pens or blue pens, and we spent $1 million on a feasibility study to figure it out. Like, because that's our
like
government's role.
That's the story about the Russian going to the moon or something like that. And it was like
Is
the
this the-
Americans spent all this money trying to create a
broke their
pen that
economy.
would
Space
use
pen.
gravity in space.
It's an urban myth.
The Russians took a pencil. Is
Yes.
that not real?
Yeah, it's an urban myth,
But
but
it's a good fucking
it's a
story.
good lesson.
It's a good
and
lesson.
just
It's what you're saying. Right
yeah,
now.
if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know,
Or
find a
don't
simple
think,
solution.
Don't think so. Hard.
Just, yeah,
Simple works.
yeah.
Pitter, you've got one law to change in cabinet your first day. Pitter is up on stage.
PM
What is the law? And no, you cannot legalise marijuana.
Oh, damn it.
He's allowed to do that if he wants
It's
to.
already legal.
I
isn't
would.
It?
I'd do it for all my uncles.
Medicinal.
Depends who knows.
I'll do it for all my uncles. I'd legalise it. But other than that, oh man, Prime Minister Peter Harmy. What would I do? I would I'd end nepotism in Māori organisations.
Oh god,
Let's go.
But not just Māori organisations, every organisation.
I would solve so many problems
Yep.
in Te Ao Māori if I chucked that law in straight up.
if nepotism wasn't a thing.
What is nepotism?
Nepotism is favouring someone in your family.
Yeah.
So you hook your son or your nephew or someone up with a job because you're in a position of power, not for their merit, not
Not
for
for
their
merit,
skill.
yeah.
So
you
it's
just
the whole. It's not what you know. It's who you know.
Yeah.
Eliminating
Yeah.
that.
pretty
It's
much.
your whānau member,
I like
yeah.
that.
And Te Ao Māori is full of that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he gets some.
And every iwi
Yeah.
has that problem, don't they? Like every iwi has a few
It's not just
very
iwis,
wealthy families
it's-
at the top, and the rest of that iwi is pretty much struggling.
But I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
it's probably
Yep.
an obligation because I can see me putting my people on before I put other people on. So
Yeah, but is that right?
it's
Is
all-
that
No,
for
I
the
don't
greater
do
good?
it. I wouldn't do it. I believe in merit.
Yes.
Me too.
That's
Yep.
why I liked food.
Not
stuff.
because you've
Food
been here
stuff
for the
was
longest,
all about merit. That's
but
why
because
I
you've
liked-
earned it.
That's why I liked that career with food stuffs, because that was all about merit. It wasn't about what
Yeah.
you knew. You
And you
rose
can-
through the ranks through your merit.
I guess my
And you
my
could
work's
see
the same.
someone young, full of fire and smart,
Yeah.
really accelerate through a, and that's fair. That's the way it should
My-
be.
my
It's
works-
capitalism.
My work is like that, and I was always told. So I went and got neck tattoos. Right, I went and tattooed my neck and did the one thing my mum and my grandfather kept telling me don't do. Don't tattoo your neck. Now I've got I've got
I
tattoos
thought they
on my...
said don't stick that in the toaster.
I did that too. But
Okay.
I tattooed my neck. I've got tattoos in my hands. I'm tattooed all over myself. And, as everybody would say in the working force and the job environment, that's probably going to set you back. But I went and got a neck tattoo. My boss said it looked good and I got a promotion. So
It
that's
can set you back depending on.
And you
who's
used to
promoting
not be able to have visible tattoos in the
you.
police.
No.
And you look now at the some of the
common.
awesome sleeves and stuff some of the cops have got. And it's like
I actually, when I was
Yeah,
back to
they weren't
my
allowed to show them.
police
used to have to cover
recruitment,
them,
I had
They
to
might still have to.
I
I'm not
had
sure.
to just like
Cover
pretty
them.
much go over every tattoo that I had and anything they were looking for, anything that was offensive
Yeah.
or that shouldn't be worn on a police officer. So they still do check.
yeah.
Also, when
Yeah, I mean, if you had a swastika on your forehead, you're probably
you're
not going to
not the
be
right
admitted
career
into the
pathway
police.
for you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's also when you get arrested, they go over all of your tattoos too, and I think that's just
Of course they do, because
it's
it
just
makes you identifiable.
it's identifiable mark. So now if you pop up down the track, well, now we know.
Or
who
they
you
find
were.
you floating face down in the Manawatu River.
Yeah.
Now they know
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that was a random end to our
That was
podcast.
a very random.
Let's
into
end
it.
nepotism together, team.
Let's
That's
end
right.
Let's end
nepotism.
it, yeah.
Making a Statement podcast brought to you by Kia Ora FM, sponsored by On Target Productions. And today we've had Henry's Family Pies provide us with an amazing What the Funk Is That? And we've had NZ Fresh Pork from Levin provide us with the beautiful meat that went into that concoction of a... What was the word for it, Peter?
Mystery munch,
Diabolical.
or you
Diabolical.
That
Diabolical.
yeah,
diabolical
absolutely
pie.
diabolical.
Also, one thing I want to shout out to everybody is any questions that you may have for us that you want answered on this podcast, whether it's related to men's mental health, whether it's related to any of us as an individual, or whether it's something completely irrelevant, completely random, and completely whatever you might want it to be, feel free to drop that in the comments as well. We want to get you guys involved as much as we can so you are a part of our
100%.
Making a Statement podcast too.
Especially if it's something that people don't talk about and you think they just should talk about it. Those
Yeah,
are
those are
topics
the
we
perfect-
really want you
yeah.
to dig out.
We're here to talk about it and
Well,
break
yeah.
the stigma.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are
Break the
breaking the stigma. Also, shout out to Making a Statement Entertainment. I got the MASE on today, the
Yes,
Making a
I have
Statement
one.
apparel. These are available at makingastatement.co.nz.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to see you next time. Looking forward to it.